All right, in Brentwood, we've got a police investigation on the left shoulder, 65 southbound near Concord Road. Over here on the South Loop, it is a crash. 40 eastbound at 4th Avenue, 2nd Avenue, exit 210C. And then in West Nashville, an injury crash, Charlotte Pike, just west of White Bridge Pike. Accident blocking the right lane, 40 westbound near 28th Avenue, exit 207. And in Glencliff, an accident on the left shoulder, 40 westbound near Spence Lane. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. Welcome in, one and all. It's the Matt Murphy Radio Show underway for another day. Happy to have you with us on a Tuesday, May 19 edition. It is the year of our Lord, 2026, and we thank you for spending a little bit of time with us. Whether you give us the full 4 hours or a mere 5 or so minutes, we thank you. We appreciate you. And if you weren't here, we wouldn't be here. And we've got a lot to talk about. A lot of entertainment news, a lot of very political news, a lot of fun stuff. A little bit later on in the show, we'll talk to Congressman Andy Ogles, who is making a return appearance on the radio show. Very excited about that. You on the telephones all afternoon long as well at 615-737-9986. It's 7 minutes after 3 o'clock. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me tell you where you can listen to the show. I mean, obviously, you're probably listening on, 99.7. I mean, you're listening somewhere, but there are a lot of different places to listen to the show. You can find us on 99.7 FM. We're obviously on TuneIn, Spotify, iHeart, and a number of other apps, including our own, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Of course, Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. If you want to watch the sausage made, you are welcome to do so. And you might see the likes of yours truly, Matt Murphy. Occasionally, young Jackson Williams, a.k.a. J. Willie, a.k.a. Y2J, a.k.a. Reaction Jackson, a.k.a. Action Jackson. Is that all of them? He gets in on the program. And then there's Ken Weaver behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our... Oh, no, that's Jackson. Hold on. What do you do, Ken? Oh, that's right. You deliver news twice an hour and when it breaks.
How about you boys?
What's up, Weaver?
We got football coming to Nashville.
I like it. Real football. Big boy football. Winning level football is coming to Nashville.
Here's the deal, boys. Those Titans, they could be in this game.
Yes, they could.
They could improve to the point by then they could be in this game in their home city.
They could. That has happened a couple of times now. Twice, I want to say. The Rams did it a couple of years ago, didn't they?
Yep.
And was Seattle?
Nope.
No? Who did it?
Tampa.
The Tom Brady?
Year. Yep.
Okay, so Tampa, and then there you go. So we would be number 3 there, Ken Weaver.
We'd be number 3.
You feel good about that? I bet we could put some. I bet we could put a few dollars on that right now.
Well, now if it was going to be next year, I don't know if I'd make that bet. But we got 3 years here to some more drafts and some more improvements, and we could be there.
I feel good about it. No, not really. I don't. I blame myself, fellas. Jackson, do you know that? Yeah, by the way, hello, Jackson.
Hey, buddy.
You're looking good today.
Thanks.
You look ready for a photo. Hey, Ken.
Yes, sir.
You want to know the last thing Jackson said to me before we started the show?
Oh.
And I would never make any of this up. The last thing Jackson said before we start the show is, hey, how about we don't talk about that? My mom listens. Tell me I'm lying. He says to me, because I said, because pull back the curtain a little bit. Every day right before the show, and he does this to rile me up. I think he does it because he knows I'm not good at it, and it annoys me, and that gets me in the right mindset for the show.
Right.
He's like, hey, Murph, what do you want to title the show today? Hey, Murphy, what are we talking about today? Because we have to put a title, and on the YouTube, Facebook, Twitter side of things, you try to make that title enticing for the people over there to click on that link.
Yes, sir.
Oh, we got to have them click on that link, Ken.
Oh, Yes, sir. We got to have them click on that link, Mr. Lund.
You know why?
Why?
We got to beat that competition.
Oh, yes, sir. We got to beat that competition. Yes.
So he says to me right before the break, right before we come on air, hey, what are we talking about today? And I shoot back with a pithy retort.
Yeah.
And Jackson says, and I quote, how about we not talk about this? My mama listens. And I said, okay, that's fair.
I've been busted by my mom. She listens to us, too.
Oh, gosh.
Woo. Sometimes my Nink-a-poops has been a little racy.
I hope that, some days I hope mama's looking down on me from heaven.
She is every day.
And some days I'm hoping she doesn't have a radio on. You know what I mean? Some days I hope
she's got some other activities going on up there.
Whatever they're doing up that, I hope, shuffleboard, whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
That mahjong. I hope she's playing some mahjong. Maybe somebody wanted some smooth jazz on the radio instead of that loud mouth in Nashville, Tennessee. Some days I hope that. So today might be one of those days. You never know.
You never know.
What did you decide to entitle the show today, by the way, Jackson?
Nashville is a Super Bowl city.
We are. How about that? Jackson, you excited?
I'm very excited.
I'm excited. Ken, you excited?
Super Bowl.
And if you want to complain about the traffic, you know what you can do?
What's that?
Plan a lovely vacation the third week of February 4 years from now.
By the way, I've been reminded during the NFL draft. I don't know if you boys saw this news story, but the bachelorette parties were quite upset.
Oh, were they?
Yes.
Why were they upset, Ken?
Well, they didn't.
Nobody told them?
Nobody told them.
And you couldn't get a reservation. You couldn't really.
You couldn't get around anywhere. And this one guy was talking about, I don't want to talk to all these football people. I've got the cut. It was great.
You have it?
Yes.
Oh, did you have it at your fingertips?
I've got it right here.
Can we have it?
Yes.
Let's go.
This is from 2019, the NFL draft that drew 600,000 people downtown and ruined this young lady's bachelorette party.
And it just changes, like, the crowd, like, what you're here for. Like, I don't want to hang out with a bunch of football guys.
No.
Like, I'm good. I already have to watch football on Sundays. I don't need to see any more of that.
When did they start planning the draft? Because I feel like I just found out about this.
I found out 3 days ago, and it made me want to cry.
Yeah, she found out and told me a few months ago, and I said, well, we already booked it. We're not changing it.
The person that's going to pay for this is my husband when I refuse to watch football the entire season. Like, I'm talking no Super Bowl.
No.
Because you get married once.
Yep.
How often does the draft happen?
Every freaking year.
Every year. Like the worst.
Wonder if they're still married.
I doubt it. She's telling her fiance that he can't watch football
He can't watch football.
Let me get this straight. I can't watch football because your dumbass booked a bachelorette party to Nashville, Tennessee, the same week of the NFL draft.
That was announced years in advance.
So you're the dum-dum, and you're going to tell me to turn off the football? I don't think so.
I believe it was awarded in 2017.
Yeah, and that was 2019.
So,
But also, in that clip, I counted 5 likes.
also,
You know what I mean? Like,
didn't she notice like how much more expensive it probably was to book that weekend? You know what I'm saying, Ken?
Yes, sir.
Because like the prices were probably 2 to 3 times what they'd normally be.
Little higher.
come for the Super Bowl, says 1012. Stay for the chain restaurants because Freddie has killed off all the local establishments.
There's going to be a Chili's with a pair of boots as the L.
Yeah, Applebee's. Yeah, I can see an Applebee's with a little cowboy hat on top of the B on the Applebee's.
Yeah.
What's that nasty thing you get from Chili's?
Jackson, I told you that there was a time, I don't think it's on the menu anymore.
Thank
they
God.
had a delicious tuna steak, and it was a tuna steak sandwich, and I enjoyed. It was fabulous.
Yes, sir.
Tuna steak sandwich until I got food poisoning from one of them, and then I stayed away from Chili's for about 4 years. And when I went back, they no longer had tuna steak on the menu for some reason.
Chili's, a fine chain restaurant.
Yes,
I would
sir.
never order a tuna steak.
Why not? What's wrong?
Because it's Chili's.
Wait, you just said they were a fine restaurant, And now you're saying it's Chili's. Where would you order a tuna steak, young Jackson?
A nice place. Tablecloths, the whole thing.
Oh, like the Dead Lobster?
No. You a Dead Lobster guy?
No.
You don't like the biscuits?
If you think that Red Lobster is adequate seafood, then
I like that Admiral Feast. That was pretty good.
I don't know what that is, Ken.
Has a little bit of everything.
The last time I was in a Red Lobster was years and years and years ago, but I used to give my radio partner in Birmingham, Alabama, Andrea Lindenberg, holy hell for loving the Red Lobster. I'm like, that is redneck seafood heaven. That is seafood for people who have never been within 100 miles of the coast.
I bet that Red Lobster Admiral dinner was about $12.99.
No, it was actually a little bit more expensive than that, Brother Jackson.
What'd they call
13?
it? What'd they call it? Crab Fest or whatever the hell they called it?
Yeah, they had the Crab Fest, and then you heard that they brought back the what was it? The unlimited shrimp.
Oh, did they now?
Yes, sir.
And then they went bankrupt like 2 months later.
I hear they did.
But see, they brought it back again.
Oh, but those Cheddar Bay biscuits are to die for. Whatever.
Yeah, the Admiral Feast at the time, I believe it set me back about $18.50 plus tip.
That's not bad for the eating.
No,
I mean, that's a lot of food.
it was a whole bunch too.
It's not very good food, but it's a lot.
It was all right.
Did you get a bib, Ken?
No, didn't get a bib.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool. Too much trouble. All that
Well,
cracking and snapping.
Well, it's hard to tie behind my back.
Yeah, I get that. The best ahi tuna steak sandwich is at the local Goat in Pigeon Forge. Seared with jalapeno and bacon sauce. My goodness gracious. Say no more, 1278. Bring us, I'll tell you what, if it's free, we'll take 3. How about that?
That actually sounds really good.
It does sound very good. Ken is right. The Admiral's Feast is fantastic. Look, good gracious, people. Y'all stop this. Stop this nonsense. Don't admit it. Michael writes in, the Admiral Feast is good. There's like 28 zero. Good. O's. Good.
That's like Andy Griffith when he'd say good.
That is good eating.
Except for Aunt B's pickles.
Oh, man. I don't think I could face a world that has 8 quarts of them pickles in it. That's what he says, right?
Yes.
Andy, I don't think I can face a world that's got 8 quarts of them pickles in it.
They're good.
Aunt B, they ate them all, and she made more. They trade them out for store-bought pickles, right?
Yes.
But these ain't store-bought pickles. These are awful Aunt B pickles. The Admiral's Feast has the entire ocean fried in it, as Poseidon demanded. 2115 says, what's wrong with redneck seafood? To each their own. Hey, we don't make a matter of taste, a matter of fact on the Matt Murphy Show.
That's right. That's right.
It's my taste that I say that Red Lobster is redneck seafood. What's wrong with redneck seafood? 0306. Matt, I believe you're a food snob. I try not. I can't be a food snob and be this fat.
You're not fat anymore, Brother Murphy.
Well, I mean, I'm fat enough. Picture day today.
It's picture day.
Jackson wasn't allowed to take pictures today.
He couldn't take pictures.
I'm just throwing it out there. We got to get Jackson full time, so the next time that we have picture day, Jackson can take pictures with us. So that's all we're going to say about that. But we had pictures taken, and Ken Weaver in 90-degree temperatures is wearing blue jeans.
Whew, I got a bad case of the swamp ass, too.
Do you now?
I'm still trying to get over it. I don't like wearing pants when it's hot.
No.
I can feel the hairs that I had regrown by wearing shorts. I can feel them sliding right off again. I'm going to start all over.
You feel
I got
like
bald legs.
You're losing your hair on your legs, are you?
Yes, because they're pants.
My legs get... I don't feel like my legs got as white during the wintertime in my younger years as they do now. Maybe I was not wearing as much pants during the wintertime, but... Man, I got the white legs,
Well,
Ken.
it seems like it happens when you get in your 50s.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
they
sir.
just get pasty white.
Yes, sir.
I mean,
And it's hard to turn them
paper
back.
white. Yeah, I know. I'm doing my best. Well, I'm sorry they have to wear those long breeches, Ken. I apologize.
That's all right.
I didn't really have any. I mean, did you take a couple of changes of shirts?
No, I should have. But no, I didn't. Brother Dan Mandis did, though.
I find it ironic that Dan Mandis is probably among all of us here at Super Talk 99.7 WTN. He probably likes taking pictures the least.
Yeah.
I don't like photos of myself, but, it is what it is. And, just go, I don't have to take them. I don't have to look at them. I just have to stand there and smile. That's the way I look at it. Ken Weaver's a fine-looking fella and should enjoy picture taking. Then there's, I guess, Chad took some photos.
Yeah, Brother Chad took
Chris
photos.
Hand didn't want to take photos because he said he'd already taken photos, but they made him take pictures anyway. And then there's Dan Mandis, who hates it the most, and he's the one with 2 changes of clothes because of Amy Mandis.
Yeah. Amy Amy suggested that he possibly try the pink shirt, too.
See, I would have just
Brother
gone.
Dan obliged.
I would have just gone with the pink shirt then.
He got on a nice blue shirt.
Did he?
Yeah, it was real nice.
Well, Dan's a good-looking fella. I mean,
He is.
as guys go, good-looking fella over there. He can make babies cry, too. Did you see his Facebook page?
He's making his new little grandbaby cry.
Well, I heard him talking about it this morning, Ken, and I don't understand what he doesn't understand about it. It's almost a compliment to him because he said his grandchild acts like his grandchild doesn't want to be touched by him. I'm thinking, well, Dan, you don't want to be touched by anybody, so you think maybe the apple didn't fall very far from the tree there, brother? I mean, maybe she learned it from watching you.
It could have been.
Could have been.
Could be.
Get Ken some scissors. Oh, yes. Folks are suggesting that you go ahead and you remodel some of those britches, Ken. Go ahead and take you some scissors.
Yeah.
I think those britches are too nice for scissor cutting, though.
Yeah.
I watched an old boy do that at a Talladega race one time.
Like right there in the crotch. Cut out the crotch.
He took a pocket knife and he took care of he was hot and he was drunk and he took care of business there. Right there in the stands. Oh, man. Y'all, that's what I thought. He's right next to the bathrooms, and he just cut them. Let's go. Let's get them off.
Oh, he just made him short.
Oh, yeah. Made them short. And Kent, and now we're wearing cut-off Wranglers, which are cut way too high because you didn't really have perspective because you still had the pants on. And now you got those way too high-cut Wranglers, a flannel-like shirt on, and boots and a cowboy hat. And I'm like, oh, you just went from cowboy to gay cowboy. Congratulations.
I was getting ready to say, man.
I'm like.
Not a good move.
Not a good look, brother.
Was that at Talladega?
It was at Talladega. Yes, it was. TB says, not interesting. Move on. Okay. What would you like to talk about, TB? Why don't you call us up and we'll talk about anything you want to talk about? I'm waiting. Ken would be hot in an American flag thong. Man. It's going to take me a minute getting over that one.
I ain't wearing no thong. I'll just go completely naked.
All right, we will move on to some more interesting things. I apologize to TB for having a personal conversation for just a moment. My sincere spot. As a matter of fact, TB, I'm going to go ahead and pay you back every penny you've paid for this radio show.
Yes,
it's 23 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. More coming up.
Testifying in front of Congress, we need WTN app.
Here are some wonderful aspects of getting that refi done with Accurate Mortgage. Mortgage rates have come down a bit recently, and home prices are coming down too. So we're reaching that honey spot where home prices are down, mortgage rates are down just a little bit. And unlike the big online lenders, at Accurate Mortgage, you're not just a number on a sheet of paper. You are a community member. You're a neighbor. They see you at church. They see you at the ball game, and they're never going to advise you to do a loan that doesn't make sense for you financially. Now, listen, even though rates may be a little bit higher than your current mortgage, a cash-out refi might be just the thing you need to save money every month by getting rid of some of that higher interest credit card debt or consumer debt. They like to say don't lose the savings in your wallet to the interest rate in your head. If you're looking to purchase a home, do a cash-out refi, or renovate your current home, or pay off high-interest credit card debt, let the loan advisors at Accurate Mortgage help you find the right loan solution for you. Accurate Mortgage. Visit today. AccurateMTG.com. AccurateMTG.com. Accurate Mortgage. NMLS 129944. Rates and terms subject to change. Equal housing lender.
Nashville gets a Super Bowl. Got a big story on that for you coming up here at 3:30. Other top stories as well on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Had a great opportunity earlier today to spend some time with the Maury County Republican Women's Club. I hope I'm saying that correctly. The Maury County Republican women have a get-together, I guess monthly, although they're skipping June and July. But they invited me to speak out at the Catfish Campus. And now let me tell you, if you want some fine seafood, Catfish Campus in Columbia, Tennessee.
Boy, that sounds good.
Oh, it was good. Well, I did what I needed to do, Ken. I just had a grilled chicken sandwich.
Oh, man.
No French fries or anything, just a grilled chicken sandwich. It was hard, though, because there was a lot of good-looking fried seafood around
there
me.
was, boy.
And a lot of fine, lovely people, and so generous with their kindness about the radio show. And just spoke. I had a nice lady say tell me that she wasn't Ken Weaver. She said, "I'm not Ken Weaver." I said, "Well, I never thought you were, but thank you for telling me." And they asked about Jackson. A couple of people wanted to know how Jackson was doing. Where's Jackson? They said. And I was like, we don't let Jackson out of the house very much.
Only on special occasions.
Only on special occasions. I am going to right after the news tell you what I have a few things that I had to say, and I have a question for you. This was a topic that I brought up because I was asked to speak before the group, and the subject was basically the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. And I expressed my internal battle that I have on the regular in terms of my attitude about the future of the United States of America. And I wonder if you have the same battle. I wonder if you struggle between being pessimistic and optimistic about the future of our country. I'll tell you exactly what I mean coming up in a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. The NFL bringing its biggest game to Nashville. The Super Bowl 64 for 2030 going to be played inside the new Titans Stadium that's actually scheduled for completion next year. Of course, Nashville's going to have to throw a party to celebrate the successful bid. Here's Channel 4's Alexandria Adams.
Tomorrow, there's going to be a big party on Broadway. Also, tomorrow morning, there's going to be a press conference that will happen with city leaders. Governor Bill Lee's going to be there, the Titans, and national sports broadcaster Jim Nantz. Of course, going back to that party, though, starts at 7:30. The Super Bowl celebration is happening there on Lower Broadway. There's going to be live music because, of course, we live in Nashville. We got to have that. Drone show as well as fireworks and special guest appearances there. Nashville's band Six Wire is also performing, and Marty Smith from ESPN is hosting that event.
Nashville's proven ability to host big events, especially the 2019 NFL Draft with at least 600,000 fans, helped that bid. Iran war update at the White House construction site for the new ballroom. President Trump says he was an hour away from ordering more strikes on Iran this week. Said Gulf allies pressured him to hold off.
I had made the decision. So they called up. They had heard I made the decision. They said, sir, could you give us a couple of more days because we think they're being reasonable.
A rideshare driver's out of a job after being accused of running an AI scam. ABC's Mike Dubusky has more.
Boca Raton resident Bert Gore says a Lyft driver tried to scam him out of $75. He alleges that the driver submitted misleading photos claiming Gore's daughter left behind a mess in the back of his car.
I said, these photos are AI generated.
After raising the issue with Lyft, the rideshare company blocked the driver from the app.
If you're not paying attention to this and you're getting charged $75. I mean, it can really add up.
Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
That's the latest news, weather, and traffic next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Got a vehicle fire. It's going to be Briley Parkway westbound, just east of Ellington Parkway. You got the westbound right lane blocked, and so is the shoulder. 65 southbound near Concord Road in Brentwood. Still showing a police investigation there on the left shoulder. Crash on the South Loop going eastbound there at 4th Avenue. West Nashville, a crash Charlotte Pike west of White Bridge Pike. Glencliff, a crash on the left shoulder, 40 westbound near Spence Lane. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hi, friends. Matt Murphy here for GracePoint Healthcare. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. If you're looking for a new doctor, or if you're just sick of having to wait for long periods of time when you schedule an appointment to actually go to the appointment, or when you go in waiting in the waiting area, and I don't really understand what's going on there. My appointment's at 2 o'clock, and I'm waiting here, and it's 2:45. It's 3 o'clock before you get back. GracePoint Healthcare doesn't believe in these things. They're a direct pay primary care provider, meaning that all of your treatment decisions are made between you and the medical staff of GracePoint Healthcare. What does that do for you? That means there's no insurance company in the room with you. And whether you know it or not, at most of these places, that insurance company looms large because there's certain things they cover, certain things they don't. They don't deal with that at GracePoint Healthcare. They get to the bottom of the issues that you're facing, and they get to the root cause of the situation, not just treating the symptoms. That is called health care the right way. Plus, ask about the Smart Care Plan, $99 for the grown-up, $79 a month for the kids. You can pay this through your HSA. You don't have to worry about unlimited office visits throughout the course of the year or at no additional charge to you and your family. Plus, you get free basic labs and diagnostics. 599-6868. They're located in the heart of Franklin. Worth the drive from anywhere within the sound of my voice. It's GracePoint Healthcare, modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. My favorite thing about our radio show on a daily basis, getting to talk specifically to you and you and you. 615-737-9986. That's our telephone number. Open lines right now. Open lines throughout the course of every single show. 615-737-9986. Now understand if we have an interview or Matt puts on his rant pants, then, oh, pardon me. Oh, excuse me. I've got my little pot up in here, and I should not have that up. That was you, too. You were sending me my thing. Thank you very much, Jackson, for that. What was I saying? My favorite thing to do is communicate with you. 615-737-9986. Now, if we have an interview like we have scheduled at 4:05, you might have to wait a second, but we'll get to you. 4:05 or thereabouts today, Congressman Andy Ogles will be back on the show with us. We'll talk about the political campaign that is in the new Congressional District Number 5 and how that changes the dynamic for him in the primary and potentially moving forward into the general election, and what is his messaging to the new constituency that he now has, considering these new lines are expected to be in place by the primary come August. 615-737-9986 if you have any comments up until then. I had a great chance to speak at Catfish Campus in Columbia, which is a fabulous place, to the Murray County Republican Women's Group. And thank you so much to the entire team, leadership team, for inviting me. It was an absolute delight to meet all of you, and I appreciate your kindness and your the fact that you invited us was a very kind gesture, and I appreciate that. And I was asked to speak on the, generally speaking, and by the way, County Mayor Sheila Butts was there, and I think Jason Gillum was there, amongst others. And I had a chance to speak on the 250th birthday of the United States of America. And I won't go over everything that I spoke about at the lunch, but it occurred to me that this is a conversation that I'm curious what your thoughts are on. I go back and forth, genuinely go back and forth in terms of where I see the future of the United States of America going. I'm naturally a pessimist. It is a natural state of being for me to be pessimistic. I fight against that. I imagine about certain things. I am a Pollyanna. I don't pretend that I don't have blind spots in that regard. But for the most part, I mean, Benjamin Franklin was known to have said that, pessimism is superior to optimism in that you prepare for the worst and you're pleasantly surprised when the worst does not occur and you are willing to accept something less than perfection with a smile on your face. Well, that said, a lot of times you go through life, fearing the worst, and that can put a damper on your spirits. But sometimes I have a great fear for what is the future of the United States of America. And at other times, I have great hopes. And these are wild swings in emotions about the future of the United States. But I remember, the godfather of modern talk radio, Rush Limbaugh, was the greatest optimist for the United States of America. And it was in spite of his frustration with the government. It was in spite of his frustration with the politicians. And it was because of his belief in and love for the people of this country. And I feel the same way. If America is to overcome some of the issues that we find ourselves within in 2026, we overcome them through the spirit of the American people, and we do so in spite of, oftentimes, the elected politicians. No offense to those local elected politicians that I was speaking to today, and no offense intended toward even those that go to the Washington, D.C. area to quote-unquote represent us, but it feels like they get to Washington, D.C. and they lose their ever-loving minds. They lose their ever-loving minds. And we're beginning to have a summer of celebration, celebrating the 250th birthday of the United States of America. And, I mentioned today when I was speaking in Murray County, when I feel worst about this country? When I find myself in the midst of a very pessimistic attitude about the United States of America? It's when I'm on my phone. It's when I'm on social media. And I don't know if you feel the same way about it. I certainly do, that social media is dividing us in a way that is impersonal and frightening. We have always had robust disagreement in America, particularly when it comes to politics, about the proper role, the basic proper role of government, the function of government. From our very beginning, it's not like this is new. From our very beginning, ask Thomas Jefferson and John Adams how they felt about all of this. Obviously, there were very strong disagreements from the very beginning in American history as to the role of government federally, statewide, locally. So that is not new. What is new is the social media platforms that give voice to the most extremist viewpoints imaginable. And secondarily, when you're not talking to one another in an interpersonal way, it feels like it gives an opportunity to individuals to be more callous with their commentary, more harsh with their commentary, and just generally speaking, angry. And look, this is coming from a guy that yells on the radio for a living. You know when I feel best about America? So that's when I feel worst about America. Why are you smiling?
It's when you look at the youth and the future, right? Like me.
Oh, no. You know when I feel best about America? When I feel best about Tennessee is when I'm riding my motorcycle, when I'm taking a day trip, I'm out in the country, I'm in the middle of nowhere, I'm looking at the pasture land. You find yourself in small town America. You find yourself in little, villages and hamlets that you didn't know existed.
Eating a hush puppy.
I mean, and you see the people getting after it. You see people just getting a hard day's work in for a good solid day's pay. And I mean, the backbone of America is off of the highways. The backbone of America is in Middle Tennessee, in my opinion. And I feel good. I mean, I just find myself feeling better about this country when I'm in it and off my phone, and I feel worst about. I don't know if this resonates with anyone else, but it struck me as a frightening aspect to modern America. 9159, do you feel the best when we call you? Well, sometimes, occasionally. I love talking to folks. I love speaking to people like you in a personal way. 1570 says, I don't think it's social media. It's the engagement algorithms social media uses to keep you scrolling. Well, that is social media, brother. That's the entire point. If we could make the use of those algorithms, illegal things would improve massively, almost instantaneously. Matt, as long as we continue to recklessly ignore the debt problem, I see no reason for optimism. Politically, the United States of America is the biggest. You know, I did bring that up, and I stated toward the end of my comments today, and you've heard me say it regularly, and I mentioned, if you are a regular listener to the Matt Murphy Show, you've heard me say this repeatedly, the greatest existential threat that this country faces is from within. It's our national debt. It's the inability that politicians have to stop spending fake money. Will eventually turn and it won't destroy the United States of America. America will not cease to exist. We'll just become a socialist nation. Y'all understand how that works, right? The politicians will never blame themselves for overspending the money. The politicians will make an enemy out of the, quote, big, mean, evil corporations, and they will grow enough stupid people from the ground up that they will buy into this concept that it's the mean, evil companies and the free market and capitalism that's the true enemy, not the true enemy of the people, which is in Washington, D.C. The bureaucracy, the lobbying organizations, and ultimately the politicians themselves. They have an inability to do anything to get elected other than spend money that we don't currently have. It is the greatest existential threat that we face in the United States. $40 trillion. I ask you to consider $1 million. $1 million is a lot of money. $1 million is a tremendous amount of money. And you have to get $1,000 million to get to $1 billion. You have to have 1,000 piles of $1 million to get to $1 billion. Then you have to have 1,000 of those to get to $1 trillion. And then you have to have 40 of those to get to our national debt. Understand, it is difficult for us to imagine that amount of money. And for the most part, people want to pretend like it doesn't exist. And I said this to my friends in Murray County earlier today, and there were nods of agreement and approval. Say what you will, and I voted for Donald Trump. I have nothing but on a lot of fronts. I have nothing but praise for the guy. But Donald Trump is not a fiscal conservative, y'all. Never has been. Has never claimed it to be. Donald Trump, our president, talked a good game in the first term about trying to pay down some of the debt, and tried to act on that early on in his second term with Elon Musk and Doge and all of that. And it all turned out to be a certain level of lip service. Now, once again, I have no interest in turning this into a Trump bashing. What I would say is that he's not been fiscally conservative with our money. He overspends just like the rest of the politicians have in Washington, D.C. for years. And it's part of the reason that he has failed on one principled campaign promise, and that is to drain the swamp, to lessen the impact of the bureaucracy for the American people. Corporations, 3740 writes, are no more our friend than the government. Corporations aren't designed to be your friend, my friend. What do you think they're here for? Corporations are associated individuals that have bought into a business model or a business concept. Corporations are businesses that are beholden to their shareholders. They're not beholden to you. You're a customer. And so your relationship is a business-based relationship. And the agreement is if you enjoy or appreciate the product that they provide, you pay a certain amount of money for that product, and they charge an amount of money consistent with the idea that they earn profit for their shareholders. They're not in it to be your friends, but the arrangement is fair and equitable and on the up and up. It is up to the government to lightly regulate that arrangement to make sure that nobody's putting their thumb on the scale. And when they do so properly, as lightly as possible, you have a pretty good three-legged stool there between the government that's there to act as a referee, and you want to see referees only when there's a flag on the play. And otherwise, that arrangement is between two willing participants who are engaging in free commerce. What's wrong with that? I love how some people, not 3740, I'm not trying to get on you, but how some would like to suggest that a business suddenly becomes evil when they incorporate. What? So Starbucks was wonderful when Starbucks was a mom and pop in Seattle, Washington, or wherever they came from. But once they became a big, larger than life corporation, now suddenly they're evil. And they're out for themselves and not out for you, the customer. Weird. When we return, we'll take a turn on our take on Iran. That's coming up a little bit later on. Also, Congressman Andy Ogles at 4:06 today at Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy here for King and Associates Insurance. I've told you about homeowners. I've told you about automobile insurance. Now, let's talk about commercial insurance. If you own a business, one claim can cost you everything, and most business owners don't realize that they are most likely underinsured until, well, sadly, it's too late. At King and Associates Insurance, they don't just sell policies. They identify risk before they become problems. Whether you're a contractor, a restaurant owner, a growing company, they can build coverage that actually protects your business. And they don't want you to guess if you know that you're covered. They want you to know that you are actually covered by calling 615-329-8121. 329-8121. King & Associates Insurance. They want to help you understand what your coverage options are. You can get a free commercial coverage review by making the call to 615-329-8121 or online at kinginsurance.com. That's kinginsurance.com. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to King & Associates Insurance.
Nashville's getting a Super Bowl, and President Trump offering a different timeline on what additional strikes he might order on Iran. These stories and more coming up at 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I have a very simple point to make about the Iranian situation, the one that Ken Weaver was just previewing. Newscast coming up in about 2.5 minutes. It feels like a wash, rinse, repeat scenario with the Iranians right now, that they don't want further strikes against them. They convince their buddies in the UAE or in Saudi Arabia to convince the United States of America that they are making concessions and ready to negotiate a quote-unquote permanent peace, opening the Strait of Hormuz, etc. They don't really act on any of that, but they make some promises. We agree to pause whatever we were planning on doing. The President of the United States making the announcement this morning outside of the White House while construction was going on in the background. I was watching some of that. I was like, you're President of the United States. Can you tell him to put down the hammers? I guess maybe he can't, but whatever. But he made the announcement this morning that, we were an hour or so away from resuming military bombardment. Feels like this is a cycle that we've noticed a couple of times. Once again, I'm not against victory. I just don't see it as clearly as others do. I don't feel it like others seem to want to feel it. It's more of a wash, rinse, repeat situation where, hey, y'all better get right. Oh, we promised to get right. We back off a little bit and they don't get right. And they do what they want to do, and then we start the cycle all over again. The Iranians are liars. Any negotiation has to be recognized through that lens. Otherwise, what are we doing? My fear from the beginning was always that we would be half pregnant in the midst of all of this, and that doesn't work. Not with the Middle East. You have to go all in, and they understand one thing, and that is the sword. Negotiation is just an opportunity for them to lie. And we've seen that over and over and over again. That is not to say that we can't be successful. I hope that there are smarter people in charge that are offering alternative solutions to what has become somewhat of a liability, an albatross, if you will, around the political necks of Republicans leading up to the primary in some states. I think there's primaries going on today in Alabama, if I'm not mistaken. Ours isn't until August, and then eventually the general election, where there will be a hotly contested House of Representatives race that we need to win if we expect that America will. I mean, we'll get 2 years of just ridiculousness if the Democrats take over. And that is a concern. We'll talk to Andy Ogles about that in a moment, amongst other things. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Time for the news.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Nashville's officially been awarded Super Bowl 64, set for February 2030 at the new Nissan Stadium, which is expected to be open next year. Channel 4's Marius Payton spoke with Dina Ivey, CEO of Nashville's Visitors and Convention Corporation, who says the city's ready.
There are several things that happen leading up to that Sunday in February, some run by the NFL, but others will be coordinated by Nashville's Super Bowl Bid Committee. The group was formed to organize community partnerships as well as all the events in town. Now, one of the biggest pieces is making sure the city can handle all the people we're expecting to see, which Ivy says Nashville is ready for.
It will be the biggest event ever. I mean, we've never hosted anything of this magnitude. We've hosted a lot of big events, and we're used to hosting big events, but this one will be incredible.
The Super Bowl is the single most watched annual event in the U.S. It averages 127 million viewers for the Super Bowl.
We expect to learn more tomorrow during a press conference. It's scheduled for 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Governor Lee, the Titans, Nashville sportscaster Jim Nance, and others going to be there. Then tomorrow night, a big party to celebrate on Lower Broad starting at 7:30 to include live music, a drone, fireworks show, guest appearances. Iran war update at the White House while showing reporters plans for the new ballroom. President Trump says he was an hour away from ordering more strikes on Iran this week and signaled that he might order them later.
I mean, I'm saying 2 or 3 days, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something, maybe early next week, a limited period of time.
Trump insists Iran is, quote, begging to make a peace deal. And authorities have given an update on the investigation into yesterday's deadly attack on the Islamic Center of San Diego. Mark Remley's the FBI special agent in charge. He says authorities found hate writings in a car believed to be linked to the suspects.
In the vehicle they used, we also identified writings and various ideologies outlining religious and racial beliefs of how the world they envisioned should look. These subjects did not discriminate on who they hated.
So the two teenage suspects were live streaming. They shot and killed themselves. Could be a very long summer if tourists continue behaving this way. ABC's Sherry Preston with more on several of them behaving badly.
Tossing a coin in Rome's iconic Trevi Fountain is supposed to mean you'll someday return to the city. But what if you toss yourself in? That's what a tourist from New Zealand did, fully clothed. Swam around as Italian police ordered him to get out. He's been banned from returning to the fountain ever, so there's your answer. In Japan, an American tourist wearing a smiley face head entered the zoo enclosure housing Punch, the little monkey who carries around that stuffed orangutan. Another tourist filmed it for social media. The monkeys scattered. The tourists were arrested. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, in Madison, got that vehicle fire blocking the right lane. Briley Parkway westbound at Ellington Parkway. In West Nashville, injury crash, Charlotte Pike, west of White Bridge Pike. Brentwood, Still showing a police investigation on the left shoulder, 65 southbound near Concord Road. South Loop going eastbound, a crash there at exit 210C. Glencliff, a crash on the left shoulder, 40 westbound near Spence Lane. And in Goodlettsville, an injury crash, Vietnam Veterans Boulevard westbound before Conference Drive. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 8 minutes after 4 o'clock. Thank you for being with us on the Matt Murphy Radio Show. We appreciate your time and consideration. 3 more hours to go. 1 down, 3 to go on Super Talk. Pleased you've decided to join us. Hit us up on the phone lines. As soon as we're done with our interview that is about to start, we'll get on the phone lines with you, 615-737-9986. Obviously, discussing the latest on the Iranian situation. Not a lot new to report. As I said last hour, wash, rinse, repeat. The president wants to negotiate, wants to try to find a path toward a resolution of any conflict, but is willing to re-engage with the Iranians if necessary. It's pretty obvious to me. I mean, I'm just a knucklehead with a microphone on the sidelines, but it's pretty obvious to me that the Iranians are not negotiating in good faith. But clearly, the president has a better path to success on that front than I. 615-737-9986. Pleased to welcome back to the program Congressman Andy Ogles joining us. He is with the 5th Congressional District, of course, a district that might change considerably before the next election cycle. To speak on that, amongst other things, we welcome Andy back to the show. Hey, Andy, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. Great. It's a crazy time, busy for this time of year, as obviously you're well aware. Lots going on in the state of Tennessee, lots going on around the United States of America, especially in the aftermath of the Supreme Court ruling the Louisiana case. And I could not help but notice that, you and your colleagues in the state of Tennessee, and I suppose rightly so, were very quiet while the General Assembly was making its determination about district lines, while the governor, decided to call a special session to redraw lines to hopefully score a Republican in the 9th Congressional District. Was that on, from your standpoint, was that on purpose, that you don't want to seem like you're trying to interfere with the process, just allow the General Assembly to do their thing? Was that intentional, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, I think, so the House had a map, the Senate had a map, the state Senate, and of course they kicked it up to the White House to get their input. But at the end of the day, they handled all that. They did not seek counsel from me or from any other member that I'm aware of. But that being said, that's their purview and the Supreme Court with the ruling. And what I will say is, when you look at how it's written, is, it takes effect immediately upon signing. And so you have this situation where the district lines change, but from a federal perspective, you still represent that district that you were elected from. So there actually is a slight misalignment on the state and the federal law. But what that does is, from a defense perspective, they can say, look, the Supreme Court ruled we had a racially gerrymandered district. We immediately responded and we corrected that. And so I think that's the strategy behind it. But at the end of the day, it's a big district. It's a beautiful district. I was traveling it this weekend. Check my tires, because it's a lot of driving for sure.
Well, no, I mean, and we had a chance to talk with your colleagues, Matt Van Epps, about his newly drawn district, and Scott DesCharles, the newly drawn 4th. Obviously, you're impacted considerably more than those two. They're impacted, but your impact, I mean, just based on the map alone, will necessitate a lot more travel and just kind of reintroducing yourself to the newly drawn district. Is that the game plan moving forward? Do you expect? Let me ask it this way, Andy. Do you expect that these new district lines will be in play in August and into November, even with the lawsuits in front of you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the General Assembly did a good job, did it in council with the White House, understanding, law and how the appeals process would go. So I think they'll be fully upheld, and the new maps will be the maps going forward. And like I said, the district now, starts down in Murray and Lewis County, goes up to Fort Campbell, across the Reelfoot Lake, and then down to Memphis. And if you're Matt Van Epps, that moved Fort Campbell into my district. So if I was providing input, I would have been, hey, give Matt Epps Fort Campbell because he served there just recently. And, of course, give me my home county because it's the county where I was mayor. It's where I've been serving for almost 4 years now as a member of Congress. And, and I'm biased to my home county. But, they drew it. It's the new district, and I look forward to serving it.
And perhaps I don't trust the media to accurately report these things, which is why I so appreciate these conversations that you and I are able to have. But is this a particular challenge considering, I mean, you had a primary challenger. You were, canvassing the district. You were making your case for your representation of said district over the last several years. But the reports have been that you don't have as much money on hand as some. I don't know if that's just something that you don't care to do in terms of raising money, if that's not your area of focus. But does this not provide something of a challenge to you now that if you don't have quite as much money on hand from a campaign perspective, now you got to go into all of these different areas and kind of reintroduce yourself to these folks? You understand what I mean?
Oh, I think it's a great question. Unfortunately for many, not all, but many members of Congress, they spend more time raising money than they do actually legislating. And I didn't run for Congress to be a time fundraiser. And I think that's why people appreciate that. As a freshman, I offered more legislation than any other freshman in history. I passed more bills and amendments than any other freshman in history. I came up here to try to save our country and represent my district. So, but I can fundraise. I just choose to do the amount that I need to do to win. But as we go forward in the next, we've got tons of events coming up, tons of fundraisers to fund those coffers to win again. But, I'm fortunate that I do a lot of national media. I've got pretty good name ID, oddly enough, in the new 5th district. But, you take nothing for granted. You go work hard. And, my current district was an R5 or an R8, depending on an off cycle or a presidential cycle. And I won my current district each time by double digits. I overperformed in my district, but I'm the grassroots guy. Like, I go to the fish fries. I go speak at the churches. I'm in the community, and people appreciate that.
You mentioned the legislation that you managed to get on the table during your relatively speaking, short amount of time in Congress. What pieces are you proudest of?
Well, so right now, obviously immigration, when you look at what's on people's, what are those kitchen table conversations? Obviously the economy and affordability is huge because you have gas prices impacted by the Iran war, which hopefully will be winding down soon. But then, you also, just look at immigration. That's a huge issue across the country. And so I've been working very closely with the president, with the White House, Stephen Miller in particular. So I have the Assimilation Act, which reforms the immigration framework. So in 1965, Hart-Celler was passed, which really set up the framework to allow this invasion into our country. So my bill completely changes that, goes back to pre-1965, puts in place a quota system. You have to have a job to get here. It reforms H-1B visas. It ends chain migration. Oh, and you have to have a job. And then the next piece of legislation we'll be introducing, again, in concert with the White House, is this idea of denaturalizing folks that come here and commit crimes and sending them back to their home country. So there's a lot of work to be done. The system's been broken since 1965. And I'm fortunate that the White House and the president is trusting me to carry the legislation to try and fix it.
You bring up your commentary regarding immigration and making sure that people that come into the country, and I think we're on the same page with this, and I think most of your constituents are as well, the people that come into the United States of America have kind of America in their hearts, and we want to make sure that that is the case. I don't know if some of your comments regarding people of Muslim faith were misconstrued in the media or if these are things, and I just want to clear it up. So there are some in the media that said that you said Muslims don't belong in the United States. Did you say that? Do you think that?
Well, so let's look at the issue. You know, we have the benefit of learning from Europe. So unfortunately, it's a surveillance state. But that being said, there's a lot of data that comes out of Europe. So you can look at the crime data in London and Paris and Rome, where you have, and I'll speak in broad terms because the numbers for each city are slightly different, but you know, the migrants disproportionately Muslim out of North Africa and the Middle East make up, 6, 8, in some cases 10% of the population, yet they're 50% of the sex crimes. And so what I'm forcing is this conversation of we need to know who's coming here. We need to know that you're going to come to this country and be a part of this country and respect our rules and our laws. But it's not just Muslims. And so obviously that's an important conversation to be had. But if you look at Guatemala, every 14 minutes in Guatemala, a 14-year-old girl is impregnated by an adult. So again, whether you're from Central America or South America or Africa or the Middle East, we need to be bringing people in this country, only those people who align with our values. And if you don't align with our values, you're going to come here and commit crimes, then we shouldn't let you come in to begin with.
Right. I mean, that's for incoming individuals, but I was more referring to people who were born here. I mean, we wouldn't want to establish any sort of litmus test regarding individuals who are practicing a faith who are citizens, right?
It is a free country. You can go worship a tree for all I care. But if you are intentionally harming Americans or preaching harm against Americans, I have a problem with it. But again, let's go back to this issue. So we had 4 terror attacks in a very short span of 3 weeks. So you had the shooting in Texas, you had a shooting in Virginia, you had the car ramming and shooting in Michigan, you had the attempted bomb throwing in New York, all of which were done by Muslims. And so I was attacked for being critical of Islam and some of the violent rhetoric that's being preached in the mosques here in our country. And I was called all sorts of names. I said, fine, you know what? I'm going to send a letter. So we have roughly 3,000 mosques in the United States of America. I sent a letter on official letterhead, and I reached out to the imams, and I said, if you will condemn the violence, and if you will disavow those attackers, I will meet with any imam who's willing to stand with me and do that. Not a single one responded. Not a single one condemned the violence. Not a single one disavowed those attackers. Now, the knuckleheads that just shut up that mosque, they killed themselves, but had they been alive, I would say give them the death penalty.
Right.
Violence like that is not acceptable, not here, not anywhere. And I'm willing to say that, even though that's not my faith. But when I asked them to condemn the violence in 4 different states against Americans, they wouldn't do it. And so, again, that's a conversation we need to have of, wait a minute, you say you want to be American. We recognize your right to practice whatever religion you want, but you also have to support and defend Americans and America.
Congressman Andy Ogles is with us on the Matt Murphy Radio Show discussing the shift in congressional districts amongst some other issues involving his political campaign for the 5th Congressional District. What do you make of, I mean, it's really, it's kind of not my circus, but, the Democrats are just going absolutely bonkers along these redistricting lines. Have you been observing some of this? And some of these individuals might eventually be candidates against you in the 5th Congressional District. They want to claim, we've heard the rhetoric and the incendiary language in the past that they're trying to claim that these things are racist in their nature. My suggestion has been that the lines were drawn in a racist fashion to begin with, and that the Supreme Court was kind of repairing an error. Any commentary on some of the rhetoric coming out of the Representative Justin Pearson types of the world?
Well, so more broadly, all you have to do is look at the Northeast. I mean, it's roughly 40 to 45% Republican in those respective areas, and yet they have almost no Republican representation. So it's okay, the Democrats are okay if they do it, but the moment that the Republicans do it in response of a Supreme Court ruling, suddenly now it's wrong. But let's go back historically. So when you look, when Senator Blackburn first ran in the 7th Congressional District, that district very closely mimics the current what will be the new 9th district, in that it's part of Williamson County. It goes down to the southern border, and then it stretches over to Shelby County.
Mm-hmm.
That was her original district. It's very close to that district as drawn now. So, and that district back then was drawn by Democrats. So this current map is partially reflective of an older map that was drawn by Democrats.
Congressman, what are the plans in terms of getting into the new 5th? I mean, obviously, you've got a busy summer ahead of you before August.
I was in the district. I was in 4 different counties this weekend, and it was great. I mean, it's a lot of driving, it's a lot of territory, but my family has deep roots across the state of Tennessee. So when you go into the Smokies, my family was one of the ones that first settled in East Tennessee. My great-grandfather is actually buried up in Obion County. And so, we have roots all across this great state. And so it'll be neat for the kids as we travel this summer to see different parts of the state, to see where their great-granddad was buried and that sort of thing, go down to Memphis and see Graceland, go to the museum and those types of things. So, yes, it's work. Yes, it's a lot of traveling. But I'm going to have the opportunity to meet a lot of great people and have some fun adventures with my family. So to the extent that I can make this fun for them, I'll do my best. But, the legislature and the governor have spoken. It's an honor to serve the people, and I'll serve the new 5th just as diligently as I've served the current 5th.
Away from the campaign trail, I want to ask you about the latest in the Middle East. Obviously, you have supported the president. Most of us have supported the president of the United States in his effort to stabilize that region. It's seemingly a little more difficult than perhaps originally anticipated, considering the time frame. What's your assessment of where we are, and do you see a path forward in terms of negotiation? My fear, Andy, I'll just throw mine on the table, is that we can't trust anything that these people are saying to us, and they understand nothing but the sword. And I fully get that the president has advisors around him that are a lot smarter about this issue than I will ever be. But I'm curious your take on where we are, because this could be a potential impact on the campaign trail. I mean, people are talking to us about the $5 possibility, gasoline prices going up to $5 a gallon in the state of Tennessee. What say you about it?
I think your assessment is accurate, and the president is aware that the people, American people, don't want to be involved in a protracted war. They don't want to see this go on forever. But what you have is a regime that's literally holding on for dear life, because if Iran is given back to the Persian people, that regime and everything associated will be driven out of that country. And so this is life and death for them, and they're willing to sacrifice their citizens. Some of the atrocities and what they're doing to women and children is not worth mentioning on air, but you can use your imagination to understand what they're doing to people. But what a lot of folks, why would the president do this? Why would he? Maduro in Venezuela is there was a pipeline of Hezbollah being funded by Iran going into Venezuela, getting new South American IDs and coming into this country. And we literally just caught an Iranian terrorist in Alabama, of all places. And so this was becoming a greater threat. And Iran itself, with their nuclear, the fissile material and such. So it's complicated, and I'm looking forward to this to ending quickly because, again, I don't support it. Wars are expensive. We need to be thinking about our homeland, America, and Americans first. And so that has been my advice to the White House, and it's duly noted.
Andy, thank you so much for your time. Always good to sit down and chat with you. Come by and see us sometime when you're in Nashville, and good luck on the campaign trail, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, take care. There's Andy Ogles spending some time with us from the 5th Congressional District. Onward and upward for him. Says he'll raise plenty of money. He's not interested in raising that money, but he'll raise plenty of money in terms of paying for a political campaign that is decidedly different than it was several weeks ago in terms of the campaign map. 26 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know, you can worry about a lot of things in your life, but the last thing you ought to worry about is bugs, right? Especially when we have U.S. Pest in our corner. U.S. Pest, J.K. and Erica Brister, they're so good at what they do. What do? They provide you peace of mind when it comes to critters and creepy crawlies and nasties and bugs and spiders and all those sorts of things. Inside of your home or on your property. They offer full-service pest control, and the purpose of that pest control is very simple, to stop bugs from getting on your property, to prevent insect and rodent-borne diseases that come with them. They offer that full-service pest control to eliminate termites, brown recluse spiders, ticks, fire ants, fleas, roaches, silverfish, and so much more. Even the mice and the rats that can get inside of your property as well. They have a 100% money-back guarantee. Also offering a guarantee on termite protection. Both preventative and corrective services and crawl-space services are available as well. Call J.K. and Erica Brister. They are the team that I trust, that I use, and that I implore you to utilize when it comes to your pest control needs. Free inspection and for both pests and termites when you make the call, 590-1260, 590-1260, or uspest.com.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Super Bowl 64 headed to Music City. Nashville landing the 2030 championship game in the new multi-billion-dollar Nissan Stadium slated for completion next year. Channel 4 says they asked Titans president and CEO Burke Nihill if there will be opportunities for Nashvillians who can't afford to go to the game to still enjoy the Super Bowl being in Nashville.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it is one of the highest demand events in the world, and so the game itself is what people pay attention to when you're just turning on the TV on a Sunday, on Super Bowl Sunday. But for those people who've been out to a Super Bowl city in the week before, there is just going to be a different energy. There's going to be activations, things for free to do, experiences for people who want to come downtown. And I think what they're going to experience is just this pride in the city, and that this incredible event is happening in their city.
Yeah, we'll learn more tomorrow morning at the 9 a.m. press conference, including Governor Lee, the Titans, even Nashville sportscaster Jim Nance. Then starting at 7:30 tomorrow night, a big celebration on Lower Broad to include live music, a drone and fireworks show, guest appearances. Iran war update at the White House construction site for the new ballroom. The president told a reporter how close he was to ordering more strikes on Iran this week.
I was an hour away. We were all set to go. You're talking about yesterday.
Yes.
We were going to be striking it would have been happening right now.
He signaled that he might order them this weekend. Islamic Center of San Diego attack. Mark Remley, the FBI special agent in charge of the investigation, says authorities found hate writings in a car believed to belong to the two teenage suspects.
The victims who lost their lives yesterday were there to help others, be part of a community that came together in peace. Instead, they were confronted by teenagers who appear to have been radicalized online to believe that they didn't belong because of how they looked or where they worshiped.
He didn't go into detail, but says the writings outlined religious and racial beliefs of how the world they envisioned should look and did not discriminate on who they hated. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Crashes. East Bank going eastbound near Shelby Avenue. 40 eastbound approaching Fessler's Lane. Berry Hill, 440 eastbound at 65. South Loop, 40 eastbound at 4th Avenue, exit 210C. Glencliff, left shoulder block, 40 westbound near Spence Lane. Brentwood, a crash blocking the left lane, 65 southbound near Concord Road. Goodlettsville, injury crash, Vietnam veterans, westbound before Conference Drive. I'm Ken Weaver.
A brand new sponsor alert on the Matt Murphy Show, and we're so proud to have Timberland Cabinetry as a new sponsor. They were founded in Middle Tennessee back in 2005. They've got an incredible reputation, and they specialize in high-quality kitchen and bathroom cabinetry, and I've seen it for myself. I've walked through the showroom. Not only can you walk through the showroom in Columbia, they'll take you on a tour of the entire facility, and when you do, it reinforced in my mind everything that the company's all about. Craftsmanship, quality, and local control of everything that they do. They offer solid wood and hardwood cabinetry products designed to stand the test of time. Look, sadly, some companies use this lower quality particle board. You will not find that at Timberland. As a matter of fact, they'll show you exactly the premium quality cabinetry products that they provide. They build right here in Middle Tennessee. They're located right here in Middle Tennessee. I love that about them. Better quality than customers would expect for the price, and I just want you to get involved. If you're thinking about kitchen cabinets or bathroom cabinets, it can be more affordable than you think. Bottom line is this. This is designed in Columbia and Franklin, Tennessee. and they want to see you. They have showrooms in both of those areas, and we want to encourage you to get over to Timberland Cabinets. Go say hello to them and thank them for being a fine sponsor of the Matt Murphy Show. We're going to be talking about them quite a bit over the next several months and hopefully years. TimberlandCabinets.com. For more information, go to TimberlandCabinets.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis from Super Talk 99.7 WTN and Nashville's Morning News. I'm here with Chris from USS, United Structural Systems. He's checking out my basement, my foundation, my crawl space to see if there's anything wrong. Fingers crossed. All right, so there's good news and there's bad news. The bad news is we found some cracks in my basement wall. The good news, I've got Chris here who's going to walk me through the next steps.
Yes, so unfortunately, your house has been subject to the pressure of the dirt. The hydrostatic pressure, heavy dirt pushes on foundation walls, and you've got a little bit of what we call bowing. So that wall is pushed in a little bit. We have a lifetime warranty solution for that. So we install, usually in a day or two, this can be done in most situations. We install carbon fiber straps, which keep the wall from moving inward at any point in the future. It's a lifetime warranty for anybody that ever owns this house. So it's a quick and routine thing that we do, but it yields some long-lasting benefits.
It's a great selling point if you want to sell your house.
Absolutely. Good thing about our warranties is they're not only transferable, like the contract says, they're automatically transferred when you sell your house. So you don't have to sign any paperwork or even send us an email saying that you sold your house. Warranty would transfer to the next owner.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 38 minutes after 4 o'clock. Would love to hear from you. 615-737-9986. You're always invited to be a part of the show. And we thank you for listening to the show on the good old-fashioned radio, 99.7 FM. Perhaps you're listening to our streaming apps. We're on a variety of platforms to include TuneIn, Spotify, iHeart, our own app. And, of course, there's always Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. Like, subscribe, give us the old thumbs up, help our digital numbers over there. And we thank you for being over there. We thank you for being in the YouTube chat. You YouTube chatters are a little bit crazy, and I kind of like that. 8949, I don't know what to tell you. 8949 says, I didn't hear a word of Andy Ogles' comments. No sound at all. I don't know what platform you're listening. I mean, I heard him fine. I mean, did you hear him over there? I
heard him good.
I feel like we heard what he had to say, just all well and good. So I don't know if that's on you or what, but we try to keep the sound quality as high as humanly possible, and I apologize if there's any situation involving said same. In the meantime, Keith writes in, and Keith's very frustrated with, no, I asked the question about race only because it's been brought up in the political campaigns that are currently going on in the state of Tennessee. Democrats are bringing up the subject of race because Democrats have been caught. Democrats have been putting their thumb on the scale for a long, long time, and they've been hiding behind the curtain of racial fairness and racial equality. Well, now they've been exposed. They're not interested in racial equality. They're interested in equity. They want a guaranteed outcome. They want a Democrat representing certain districts where a Democrat might not ought to be representing that district if a fair vote is contested. But Keith writes in and says, you are a racist because you know better than that. Or are you a racist because you know better than that? Makes you the definition of a racist when you know better that there's only one race, but you're still going to use it to divide like every other racist person. See how idiotic and moronic that is. If I were debating you, I would tear you a new one based on that reasoning, my friend. You're setting yourself up for the right person to put you in a corner that you can't get out of. Mark my words. And I obviously have invited Keith to call into the show. I don't really understand what you're talking about. I understand the concept that some people like to, the 100,000-foot comment that there's only one race, the human race. Well, I would just as soon talk about one race, the human race, for the rest of time. If everybody agreed to that, we could move on from it, right? But I don't think that's the way the world is going to work. And if others are going to attempt to use race as a political bludgeon or a societal bludgeon, then I feel compelled to respond. You know what I mean? That's all. So you're welcome to call in. I certainly appreciate your commentary. When I talk about racism or race, generally speaking, I'm not gaslighting. I don't know what you mean by that, but Keith is accusing me of gaslighting, and that's all fine. Butch is next up on the show. Hey, Butch, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, Brother Matthew? I was going to tell you had the young man's dad on yesterday. I'm prior service, so he actually answered the questions very well, and you asked the questions very well. Not that I'm trying to prop you up, but I was going to tell you something. This is my opinion now, not that my opinion is right.
All right.
Usually when someone calls someone else a racist, they're the racist. But what I really caught about is this. Back when 1776, when we was trying to get the founding fathers all together, they had to make hard choices for the whole country. And back then, of course, we didn't have the internet. So President Trump is trying to make the best choice for all Americans, regardless if they like it or not. So sometimes the politicians in Tennessee, because they're comfortable, and I'm a Republican, I would tell you, but I don't like when they cower down under pressure. Because if they done that in 1776, we wouldn't be America. That's what I was pretty much calling about, Matthew.
So, well,
yes, sir.
What do you think would be an acceptable outcome in the Middle East for the American people right now?
Okay, remember you asked the question, so I have to answer properly.
Yeah.
I was in Iraq in the Army.
Yeah.
We was in the green zone. We're looking for Saddam Hussein. I said, look, guys, we're in the wrong country. We need to be next door. I said, you're knocking on the wrong door. So they got us to go to Iraq, then Afghanistan. But really, it should have been in Iran, but they were spread to go to Iran. When Iran was the weakest, that's when we should have took a more easier shot, just to be honest with you. So the reason they want the uranium, because they want to know where the uranium came from, not because they want the uranium. You understand what I'm saying on that?
Well, I think they want the uranium too, right?
Especially
especially if it's been 60% enriched.
Yes, sir, 100%. But there's a lot of places that give only certain places have uranium, so they didn't mine all the uranium from Iran. I would guarantee you that. That's the point of the whole mission.
You think they got it from somewhere else? Where do you think they got it from?
Here.
Wait, in the U.S.?
Yes, sir. You asked me, I told you, I'll give you an honest answer.
Asked and answered. How do you think that happened, Butch?
Back in Obama and Clinton. They already took them billions of dollars. Even Ray Charles can see the writing on the wall. So I say that's why he wants it. I'm not saying 100% sure, but I say it's pretty close because he wouldn't be harping on it because he already blew everything up. But he wants to know exactly where the uranium came from. And that way, they know who gave it to him. Because, okay, just so you know, I'll give you a quick history. I know it's a long segment, and I don't want to cut you off. Pakistan started this whole mess. I don't know if you knew that or not. So Pakistan got the nuclear weapon, then India got the nuclear weapon. Then after that, they started going to Iran. Pakistan is the one that helped the Iranians get their nuclear weapon. Nuclear program started. Not the Koreans, not the Russians. It was Pakistan. That's 100% factual.
Well, the conventional wisdom is that they mined some of it, and I'm not doubting your position on it. I understand your position on it, but conventional wisdom is that they mined some of it in their own country and they got the rest from China and or Russia. That's conventional wisdom. But you're You're raising the possibility that they might have gotten it through the United
President
States of
Obama.
America. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, look there.
I don't know.
Well, no, that's pretty much why he wants it, because he needs to get a sample, a good enough sample to figure out where the uranium came from. Because if we gave it to him, then we cut our own throat. If that makes any sense or not, treasonous is what I'm saying.
I don't know. I look. I'm not counting anything out. I mean, they gave the damn country pallets of cash. You know what I'm saying? Obama certainly did.
Oh, yes, sir.
And, Joe Biden wasn't a heck of a lot better in terms of the Iranians. Donald Trump tried to do what he could do. I don't know about the Clinton administration when it comes to the uranium front, but I wouldn't put anything past the Obama administration. Anything.
Well, I was going to tell you this, Matthew. Thank you. I listen to you every day, and you do a good job.
Thank you, Butch.
But sometimes I just have a different perspective. But I want the people, the politicians in Tennessee to be a little bit more, have more backbone. Sometimes you don't have to always get along to get along. Sometimes we got to stand up for America.
Butch, thank you for your call. And you know what? We can, I was talking about this earlier today in front of the luncheon. I was at a luncheon with the Murray County Republican Women's Group. And we've kind of lost the art of just disagreeing on certain things and remaining friends. And I find that to be fascinating in the modern era of society where we can agree on 90 or 95% of all things political, but if we disagree on one thing, suddenly I'm your enemy. I'm not your enemy. I'm your friend. It's okay for thinking people to disagree on certain aspects of what is ultimately very complex issues that we discuss on a regular basis. Now, when it comes to the Iranian uranium, I think we want it first and foremost to remove it from that country so as to prevent them from being as close as they potentially are to developing nuclear weapons. The Iranians claim that they have no interest in building a nuclear bomb, that their interest is purely peaceful, but they've already enriched their uranium beyond the point that they would need to utilize it for peaceful purposes, primarily power. Also, it kind of stretches credulity. Am I saying that right? It stretches intelligent thought that their credibility that they have the oil resources that they have, but they would want to rely on nuclear power, even though they have the oil resources that they do. But even if it was true that they wanted nuclear power solely for electricity, well, they could already have that with the amount that they've enriched the uranium. So why do they want to continue enriching the uranium but not for a nuclear weapon? Anyone that suggests that the Iranians don't truly want a nuclear weapon, I don't know that I can necessarily trust their judgment in terms of their assessment of the Middle East. I mean, I'm not mad at you. I take it on its face that the Iranians desperately want a nuke because they want to utilize that weapon as a bludgeon against the rest of the Middle Eastern region and ultimately against the world. They don't want to use it. They want to have it to make them a quote-unquote world power on the world stage. They reportedly have up to 1,000 pounds of uranium that's enriched beyond 60%. You need to get to virtually 90% enrichment in order to make it weapons grade. And then at that stage, you would have enough for, I think, 10 ballistic missiles, if I'm not mistaken, or 10 warheads. And then you'd have to have a delivery system. And the suggestion is they already do. I understand that it is a talking point and it is a point of contention whether or not they were close. Obviously, this was a talking point when we engaged in the manner that we did. The Israelis wanted us to believe whether it's true or not. Our military officers convinced Donald Trump that it was, in fact, true, despite the fact that he told us last year that they were obliterated. Obviously, that wasn't the case, at least if we are to believe current intelligence. They've enriched to roughly 60% purity levels according to all reporting that I've seen. 9 until the top of the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy. There's a lot of things Americans are split pretty much 50-50 on. Politics, perhaps. Working from home versus the office, perhaps. Coffee versus tea. Who wants tea over coffee? I don't know, maybe. But there's some things that we can agree on. Taking your car in for repairs, complicated. Your repair is only as good as the person under the hood. And most of the problems in fixing your automobile, and I learned this from the great Aaron Stokes, and Eurofix is a knowledge issue. It's not somebody trying to rip you off. A lot of techs just aren't properly trained. They end up guessing what to do as opposed to knowing what to do. For Eurofix, for over a quarter of a century, Eurofix has done things differently. Every visit starts with a free 15-minute no-wrench inspection. You know what's going on before they start the work. At Eurofix, they pay their techs more than any other company. They do that to attract the best and the brightest. Eurofix also repairs vehicles at below dealer pricing, a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all the work that they perform. Eurofix, family-owned, locally owned, and 5 separate locations to serve you. Call or book online at myeurofix.com. That's myeurofix.com.
Nashville's going to host a Super Bowl, but what about everybody who can't afford a ticket? Authorities in San Diego say they're still trying to determine a motive for the attack on the Islamic Center there. Got an Iran war update. Trump administration continues to defend that decision to set up a $1.8 billion weaponization fund. That and more coming up at 5 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is the Murphy Show in progress. Thank you for being with us. If you were just trying to call us, give us a call back. Jackson was out of the studio for a moment. He had to shake the dew off his lily. You ever heard that one, Jackson?
No, but I assume it means take a leak.
Jackson just asked me if I was tired. You know what? I'm not feeling the energy level that I normally would enjoy. I don't think I slept well last night, Jackson.
You need to drink that Monster.
Maybe so. I'll do my best during the newscast. In the meantime, there's Mike in Old Hickory. Maybe he'll get the blood pumping. Hello, Mike.
I hope so. You know, the American people better get their blood pumped up. Trump is now backed off again.
Yeah.
He's being played like a fiddle.
I'm a little.
You know
I don't know about you, Mike. I mean, is it okay? Am I harming my Trump credentials when I say that I'm getting a little bit annoyed at, hey, we're going to bomb you. Okay, we won't bomb you. Hey, we're going to bomb you. Okay, we won't bomb you. Hey, we're going to bomb you. I mean, my grandpa would say, let's poop or get off the pot.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm now to the point to where enough's enough. We've had enough red lines, and Donald Trump better come through and say, you know what? I've had it, and get the job done. But he comes up and says, nope, I'll give him another 30 days. Another 30 days. You know what? I'm done with Trump.
Yeah, wait a minute. Let's not get hasty. Let's not be done with the man. All right, Mike. I guess that's it. Mike said he's done with Trump. Okay. I'm not done with Trump, and Trump's not done with us. We've got 2.5 more years of his second term as president of the United States of America, and I can't wait for every single moment of it. The consequences of not concluding the engagement in Iran could be potentially the House of Representatives in the fall. I don't know. Not in a direct fashion, but indirectly, if gasoline, energy prices, and by extension the economy are impacted in such a way where the American people are feeling the pinch, they're not going to care about the circumstances for which they are paying $5 a gallon. They're going to care about the $5 a gallon. That is a fact, is an empirical fact, whether we like it or not. It's 5 o'clock, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's time for the news, boys.
Five o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And for the first time ever, Nashville's going to host the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 64 set for 2030 in the brand new Titans Stadium, which is set to be completed by next year. The league cited Nashville's rapid growth, hospitality industry, proven success with large-scale events. And Channel 4's Chris Harris says the Titans president and CEO Burke Nihill and the Convention and Visitors Corporation say there will be events for Nashvillians who cannot afford to go to the game.
So we saw what the NFL draft was here, right? 2019, the fans showed out. The Titans and the CBC have more than 3 years now to plan events around the Super Bowl. Burke Nihill called the new Nissan Stadium the People's Stadium. The Titans say they are determined to make sure anyone who wants to experience some piece of the Super Bowl week can do so.
Well, you can start celebrating tomorrow night. A free live concert. There's going to be a drone and fireworks show. Guest appearances starting at 7:30 on Lower Broad. Authorities in San Diego still trying to determine a motive for yesterday's attack on the Islamic Center there. 2 teenage gunmen believed to have killed 3 people before killing themselves ABC's Alex Stone in San Diego says authorities are investigating this as a hate crime.
The FBI insisting in this that what they're calling a manifesto, that it was not specifically against the Islamic faith, that it was against everybody and against all religions and against all different races, and it was full of hate as they are going through it right now.
Iran war update.
President Trump said Tuesday he was an hour away from making a decision to launch military strikes today against Iran.
Yeah, it was all done. The boats, the ships are all loaded. They're loaded to the brim, and we're all set to start.
But the president said he put the strikes on hold at the request of Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. Asked about his new deadline for Iran to come to the negotiating table, the president said,
I'm saying 2 or 3 days, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something, maybe early next week, a limited period of time.
Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Well, the Trump administration continues to defend its decision to set up an anti-weaponization fund. That's about $1.8 billion to pay claims to alleged victims of government weaponization being treated unfairly for possibly political views. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy with the latest.
One man who says he's not a fan of the settlement fund is the top Republican in the Senate. Majority Leader John Thune tells reporters,
I think that there are and will be, continue to be, a lot of questions around that.
Earlier, Thune said he didn't see a purpose for $1.8 billion in taxpayer money being dispersed to alleged victims of the Biden Justice Department. At the White House, Vice President Vance told reporters claims would be evaluated case by case and that Democrats, namely Hunter Biden, would also be welcome to apply. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Crashes, Berry Hill, left 2 lanes blocked, 65 northbound at Armory Drive. Crash at 24 eastbound near Shelby Avenue. That's over on the East Loop. Crash 40 eastbound approaching Fessler's Lane. 440 eastbound at 65. Right lane blocked in Pegram, 40 eastbound near McCrory Lane. Glencliff left shoulder block, 40 westbound near Spence Lane. Brentwood, the left lane is blocked, 65 southbound near Concord Road. Goodlettsville, Vietnam Veterans Boulevard westbound before Conference Drive. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy Show continues. Hour number 3. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome in. For those of you just getting off the job into your automobiles, thank you for being with us. Whatever time you're able to give us, we're certainly hopeful that we entertain you on your way home or wherever you might be going, your home, your place of business, your automobile. We appreciate you listening wherever you might be to Super Talk 99.7 WTN and more particularly to the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Discussing a little bit of Iran, there are elections happening, primaries happening in a number of states surrounding us. Alabama's having a primary right now. I believe that their primary window closes at 7 o'clock tonight, a couple of hours from now. Kentucky, they're having a primary. Georgia having a primary. Pennsylvania, I believe, having a primary as well. And I think there are primaries in 3 of the 7 Alabama congressional districts. A lot of money being spent on Thomas, a lot of time and attention also being spent on Thomas Massey's congressional district over there in Kentucky. In the 4th congressional GOP primary, a lot of money being spent up there. Obviously, Donald Trump doesn't really care for Thomas Massey. Thomas Massey doesn't really care for Donald Trump. And so that bad blood has led to a lot of money being spent in that 1 congressional district alone. We're monitoring all of that, and we'll report as much as we can. Most of these returns will come in after we are gone at 7 o'clock tonight, and obviously we'll continue covering that for you. During Mark Levin's show, during Red Eye Radio, and, of course, Dan Mandis will have the full results by tomorrow morning on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Also discussing Iran and, the lingering situation. And really, it's 2 things. One, the efficacy or necessity of doing what we're doing over there. The necessity, I guess, would be the first question, and how effective it's been would be the second question. But a second track on this would be the political fallout. And obviously, there is expected to be a little bit of political fallout. You've got to convince the American people that we're giving a little to gain a lot. And I don't believe that case has been made to the American people quite yet. Those that know feel like they are in the know, but most don't understand why gasoline prices have to be at $4.25 a gallon unless they see some sort of tangible result. You're not going to convince them that this was a good expenditure of our money, or at least is worth the downturn in the economic cycle at the pump. Fair or not? 615-737-9986. Ryan is next. Hey, Ryan. Hey, Ryan.
Well, hey, Matt, I'm here. I'm sorry about that.
It's all good.
Very appreciative of you taking phone calls. I'm surprised Dan Mandis hadn't stole that from you because he steals everything else. But for that being the record.
Shots fired, Mandis! Shots fired! I love it, Ryan. Thank you. Thank you.
I think we're running out of ammunition. I really think that's why we stalled out. And I think Trump didn't really want to put the soldiers in danger and have to have the fallback on it. But it just feels like the threat is just trying to protect the loss of ammunition. Another reason I feel like that, too, is Taiwan is waiting for a $14 billion arms deal. I don't think we have them.
You don't think we have the ammo?
I think we're running short on the defending side of it. I think we got plenty of offense, but I think our defense is very shallow, and I think the Tomahawks, I think we're in a bad position, and we're just not telling the American people. I think even in the Senate hearing with Pete, there was even a little bit of a notation of that.
Well, I think it's an interesting conversation point to have. I obviously, I don't know the answer to the question. However, it would seem to me that if I'm a contractor with the federal government and we recognize that we are already low in terms of defensive munitions, that I would have already made the pitch that we need to increase those munitions long before the Iranian conflict started. Does that make sense?
It does, but I don't think they thought it was going to go on as long. I think that they threw more at us than we expected. I don't know if we were just told otherwise and fell for it. I don't really want to fall as a believer of Israel pulled the trigger. I don't really believe that, but I do believe that we were probably pulled into it thinking it was not going to be anything like it was, more like Venezuela.
Ryan, let's say that you're correct, and I don't know that I necessarily agree or disagree with the position, but let's say for a moment that your speculation is correct. Do you think that says something about the United States military readiness in the unlikely but plausible event that we would have to consider going into conflict against another country?
I do believe that, but I think if our backs got put up against a wall, we would drop a nuke. I mean, I don't think we ever want to do that, but I think if we ever got pushed in the corner, we would have no other option. I think we could fix the problem quickly, but I don't think they want to go down that road.
See, I tend to believe that the military elite advising Donald Trump came to recognize that no matter how many bombs we drop on the Iranian soil, that it's not going to change the tactics of the Iranian leadership. If we can't find them to actually kill them, then we're not going to see an uprising along the line. I mean, I don't necessarily know what they thought was going to happen when we destroyed some of their military. I mean, Donald Trump says we've destroyed their entire Navy. We've destroyed broad swaths of the Iranian National Guard or whatever they call themselves. So I don't necessarily know what they thought was going to happen, but clearly whatever it was that was in that 8-week window did not happen. So that I hesitate to say this, Ron, but I don't know that we know what to do at this point. We're not willing to put boots on the ground. We've announced that. So we're left in a position where we're kind of half pregnant, where we've got to get the strait back open again. We claim to have decimated the military of the Iranians. I don't necessarily disbelieve that. I mean, we've seen some of the images. So what is left to do except extract the enriched uranium? Well, are we going to be able to do that? And if we don't do that, is the mission ever going to be considered a success?
And I think the answer is no.
I think that's right. I think if we don't get if the purpose was to prevent the Iranians from achieving their nuclear ambitions, and we don't take back that enriched uranium, I don't know how anyone could analyze that and call it a successful mission. And I love Donald Trump, and I want to see him succeed, but that's just kind of as plain as the nose on your face.
The part of everybody wanting, or the left wanting to say that Donald Trump is Hitler, or I do believe that his near-death experience made him into a more calm individual that does not like death. And for that reason, I think if he were what they said he is, he would have already knocked out bridges, power plants, and everything else. I think he's a very humane person. People just don't see it. And I love him for the president that he is, and I appreciate that. But I just think we've weakened ourselves, where I think we had strengthened ourselves so much with Venezuela in the beginning of the war. We should have just stepped out.
Ryan, interesting call and interesting analysis. I'll have to digest some of that. Perhaps I'm being a Pollyanna when I tell you this, but I've heard many military experts tell us that we are just fine with the amount of weapons that we have, just fine with the amount of ammunition or munitions that we have on hand. So, I mean, John in Lawrenceburg wrote it down. They're just pulling some of those from the Indo-Pacific region. So I don't necessarily believe that. I do fear that we don't really know what to do, that we just don't want to waste bombs throwing them down on the Iranian soil and watching them blow up for no real purpose. The Iranians have decided they're going to dig in and try to lie and engage in subterfuge to the point that they wait us out to the November election cycle. They believe our elections are our weakness, right? Because they're theocrats. They consider the freedom for the people to go to the polls and make decisions about their near-term political future as a weakness of ours, and they want to exploit our weakness by delaying the conflict by any means necessary. They think if they can do that. Meantime, we're utilizing a blockade to try to prevent the sale of oil so that we dry up their money supply. Well, I mean, how much do they really need the money supply if they don't care about their people starving to death? Jerry is next up on the conversation. Hey, Jerry, how are you?
Good. How are you, man?
I'm well, thank you.
I just wanted to, I think kind of along the lines that you said, I'm wondering if they expected the Iranian people to rise up, but they, killed, 50,000 of them, if not more. But also, going along the lines of the nukes. The nukes, even though they said that they would use it against Israel and us and all of our allies, and you have to take them for their word. But not only that, the nukes are just to enslave their own people. I mean, North Korea is a perfect example. Clinton sent over Carter in 1994, and what happened? They had nukes. Now they have nukes, and now those people, probably the worst place to be born in the world, and now they're stuck forever. There's no way. If they were to get the nukes, the Iranian people are going to be enslaved. But
they're kind of already enslaved, aren't they, Jerry?
Yeah, but if you have nukes, there's nobody to help you, no matter how much. We're not trying to them a little bit, I guess, but I would have expected them to rise up more than they did, but that's probably because most of them got killed. They probably slaughtered them all.
There's 90 million of them.
Maybe they're scared. Maybe they, I don't know, 80 million of them actually like living in that. I'm surprised that, and maybe they were expecting more of a rise.
I agree. Well, I think you just hit it. I mean, in my opinion, you just hit on it. I do believe that there was an expectation that if we weakened the Iranian power structure, that there would be an organized effort to fill that void with some sort of representative uprising. And it didn't happen. And why it didn't happen? Out of fear, out of a lack of organization, a lack of ability, lack of arms, who knows? Or, as I have presented these many weeks, I don't believe the Iranian people, I think that they have had it conditioned out of them, this lust for liberty. I don't know if their lust for liberty, and I could be wrong, and I could be talked off of this position, but it occurs to me that maybe they don't have the lust for liberty that we expected they would have.
And that certainly could be. I agree with you. I'm not going to disagree with that.
No, but it's at some point, unless we're going to nation build, and I think all of us agree that that's a bad idea, especially in the Middle East. It's generally a bad idea any way you try to do it, but in the Middle East, an especially bad idea. Unless we are planning to go over there and put up camps and nation build literally from the ground up, at some point they being the Iranian people, have to take this over. There has to be a level of organization by which they create a hierarchy that demands revolution. Those revolutionaries have to take over the fight. And right now they're not doing any of that. 21 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Shane Ring says, anybody telling you, well, it's not open enrollment, so there's not a lot you can do about your health insurance. Don't trust those people, because there's plenty that you can do, even in the face of rules and regulations regarding, quote-unquote, open enrollment. Premiums going up in 2026. Have you felt it in the pinch of paying a lot of different bills and a lot of different expenses going up? The last thing you need are your premiums or sky-high deductibles on your health insurance. Shane Ring can assist in that regard. Shane Ring at Cover Nash can help you cut your cost by up to 60%. Keep your doctor, keep your hospital, skip the government red tape. That's what it's all about. If you're self-employed, uninsured, or simply tired of paying too much, it's time to contact Cover Dash right now, today. They are your personal Healthcare Concierge. They can shop the entire healthcare industry and find the right program for you. They work for you. They make the complex simple. You don't have to understand mathematics. You don't have to go through an insurance exam to understand what Shane is telling you and what he's talking to you about, because he makes it simple and easy to understand. Call him today at 615-465-0023, 465-0023, or coverdash.com. That's coverdash.com.
NFL bringing the Super Bowl to Nashville, and the U.S. Senate has advanced a measure that is not going to make President Trump happy. We'll tell you about it at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The Matt Murphy radio show is in progress. Don't forget, about 10 minutes or so from now, after the real news, there's Nink-a-poops in the news.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Tennessee's first pitch.
Oh, Jackson will be in top form for Nink-a-poops in the news if there's a Tennessee sporting contest on. Oh, he won't even care if he gets his butt whipped again, because Ken Weaver whooped both of us last night. I'll tell you that.
I got a good one.
Weaver is possessor of the trophy. He's got the crown, and he won yesterday. I mean, he's got all of it going for him right now.
Yay! I've got all the momentum.
You've got Big Mo, Ken.
I got Big Mo on my side.
Is Oklahoma in the baseball tournament? Is every team in the baseball tournament? Or
we're in it, but I don't think every team gets in the SEC tournament.
Either. I don't think so either. I think it doesn't the SEC have we got like 9 of the top 20 teams or something like that. It's ridiculous. I mean, Georgia's pretty good. Tennessee's pretty good. Oklahoma's obviously fair to partly cloudy, I guess.
Yeah, I'd go more partly cloudy.
Okay. I mean, I just feel like
We're cloudy.
You're cloudy?
Yes.
Not partly cloudy. Speaking of cloudy, can I just say real quick, have y'all seen I mean, I know y'all have been talking about it over there in the news closet, Ken.
Yes, sir.
The forecast for the next, 8 days?
Yeah, it's going to be wet.
Like rain.
Rain, and more rain.
You know, some of those tunnel haters out there are suggesting that tunnel's going to flood, Ken. Those, we need to come up with a better name than tunnel haters. What are they? They're tunnel troublemakers. I don't know. Elon, somebody come up with a good nickname for those that hate the tunnel. I mean, come on.
Look at this. 90% chance tomorrow. 90% chance Thursday. 90% chance Friday.
What? 90. What?
What in the world?
That's a lot of rain. Well, we need it.
We do need the rain.
We do need rain.
We do.
We need rain so I can burn my big burn pile in the backyard because I don't want to burn it with it so dry because if something were to happen, Ken.
No, sir. You don't want that.
No, not in the new hometown.
No.
I don't need to be the guy that burned the neighbor's house down. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that guy.
You don't need to be
I don't want to be that guy. That's not the guy you want to be. But, yeah, a lot of rain coming in over the next several days. Enough that there are suggestions that the tunnel might flood. I don't know. Trench trolls.
Trench trolls.
The B&A holer haters. What?
Yeah, that's what Brother Chris Hand calls it. The B&A
the B&A hole. See, I don't like it. Look, I love Chris Hand. He's a good man, and I appreciate it. But I don't like it because I think it you know what that is? That's real close to casting aspersion. We don't want to cast those aspersions.
That is close to casting
It
aspersions.
is B&A hole. Come on.
I just got a call saying we should call them tunnel tyrants.
The tunnel tyrants. I like the tunnel disgruntled. It's very difficult to say. Tunnel turds. The taters.
Yeah, the taters, the tunnel haters.
Oh, the tunnel rats. Tunnel deniers. I want climate deniers. Them tubers are always hating on that tunnel. Yeah, they hate on that tunnel. I mean, there's a bunch of them out there. But you know what? Tunnel's coming. And
so it's the Super Bowl.
The redheaded stranger wanted to know if the tunnel's going to be ready by the time the Super Bowl is here. And most certainly it will be.
Yes, sir.
According to Elon Musk, it will be.
Yes, sir.
That Super Bowl's coming in 2030, and I'm very excited about it. And I had somebody on the Super Text line say, who's excited about this Super Bowl? Well, I mean, I am.
I'm very excited.
Jackson is.
I'm excited.
Ken Weaver said earlier today, I know y'all are late to the game and probably didn't hear him say this, but Weaver declared that the Titans are going to be in the Super Bowl that we host.
I said they have a chance.
No, he said it definitively.
I did not.
I heard it definitively.
And that was just not reporting the news.
No.
I think that would be great. I think we got a quarterback that could get us there.
There was a heavy back. You know what? Now that I think about it, Jackson, there was a lot of sports opinion coming out of the normally neutral newsroom about the possibility that the Titans would enjoy hosting the Super Bowl while being in it.
Wouldn't that be something?
That would be pretty cool.
I think we got a good quarterback. I got to build around him.
I'm just waiting on my invite to tour the new facility. Apparently, the sports fellas got a chance to do that. Did you see that over there, Jackson?
I did.
I don't like it. Why
don't we get to?
I mean, we do.
We talk sports.
As I'm just going to sidle up to Ken Weaver here and say, we do the news, boys. I mean,
oh yeah.
Is this not news? Is this not news and information that people need to know about?
That's discriminatory, keeping news talk out of the stadium.
We need to go do a Murphy mess around from the stadium.
Oh.
See if we can convince them to let Jackson rappel from that upper ring into the lower bowl.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun, Jackson?
Be something.
That is. He's not the best executive producer in the business for nothing, folks.
You
That's
know,
how we do
I was in on it.
Well,
and then I realized how high.
That's high.
You know what
That's
else?
way up there.
You know what else we got? We got these Waymo cars.
We got Waymo going on. We got the tunnel happening. We got all this construction. Y'all seeing the construction over there? Right off of the loop. I mean, there's all kind of buildings going up. I mean, this town's looking up, friends. And I like it. I'm here for it. I'm here for the news, too, on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. The NFL bringing its biggest game to Nashville, awarding Super Bowl 64 for 2030 to be played inside the Titans' new enclosed Nissan Stadium, scheduled to be open next year. Of course, Nashville's going to throw a party to celebrate. Here's Channel 4's Alexandria Adams.
Tomorrow, there's going to be a big party on Broadway. Also, tomorrow morning, there's going to be a press conference that will happen with city leaders. Governor Bill Lee's going to be there, the Titans, and Nashville sports broadcaster Jim Nantz. Of course, going back to that party, though, starts at 7:30. The Super Bowl celebration is happening there on Lower Broadway. There's going to be live music because, of course, we live in Nashville. Got to have that. Drone show as well as fireworks and special guest appearances there. Nashville's band Six Wire is also performing, and Marty Smith from ESPN is hosting that event.
Yeah, so the new stadium was a big draw, but the NFL has not forgotten about the 2019 draft, which drew 600,000 fans to Lower Broad. Iran war update, the U.S. Senate advancing a measure that is aimed at ending American involvement in the war with Iran. Lawmakers voted 50 to 47 to move forward a resolution requiring the president to withdraw forces unless Congress authorizes the conflict. And Louisiana U.S. Senator Bill Cassidy, who just got primaried for voting to convict President Trump after the January 6th U.S. Capitol riot, switched and voted in favor of it. The vote marks the first time the effort's cleared a key hurdle after several failed attempts. However, the measure still faces a long path before it could become law. Earlier today at the White House construction site for the new ballroom, President Trump told reporters he was an hour away from ordering more strikes on Iran this week and said Gulf allies pressured him to hold off.
I had made the decision. So they called up. They had heard I made the decision. They said, sir, could you give us a couple of more days because we think they're being reasonable.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Crashes, 24 eastbound before Briley Parkway South. Pegram, right lane blocked. 40 eastbound near McCrory Lane. Woodbine, off-ramp partially blocked. 24 eastbound off-ramp to I-440. Glencliff, left shoulder blocked. 40 westbound near Spence Lane. Berry Hill, 440 eastbound at 65. Belmont area, 440 westbound near Hillsborough Pike, 21st Avenue. Berry Hill, left 2 lanes blocked, 65 northbound at Armory Drive. And over on the East Loop eastbound near Shelby Avenue. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hang in there. If you are ready, willing, and able to jump on the phone lines, then we're ready, willing, and able to take you just after Nink-a-poops in the news. It's a daily tradition on the Matt Murphy Radio Show at this time. As you know what the news is, you just heard Ken Weaver deliver the headlines. It's time to find the Nink-a-poops.
Nink-a-poops in the news.
Oh, no. I've officially picked me last, Ken. I officially lost my Nink-a-poop story. Oh, no. Gotta look it back up. I accidentally hit the X button. Hey, friends, you know what the news is? It's time to look all across the state of Tennessee, all across these United States of America.
Nay,
the globe.
Nay, the globe. Where we find the Nink-a-poops. We find them wherever they might be. We present them to you on a daily basis, and you get to vote on your Nink-a-poop of the day. And then we crown a winner. Thank you to the Wellness Institute of Nashville for providing a fine trophy and a fine-looking crown, both of which reside in News Closet B at this current and present time. Man, Jackson, you hadn't had it in a minute. I mean, you held it for like 3-4 weeks in a row.
6.
You held it for 6 weeks in a row. But my goodness, Ken's got it this week. I had it last week. Hand had it the week before that. You hadn't had it in like a month. Oh, my goodness.
Well, he's been a little bit distracted. He was training people.
Well, that's true. And now he's a little bit distracted watching the Tennessee baseball team play.
2 outs, 0-2 count.
Yeah. Way to go, Jack. You know what people love the knowledge of? That you're not really paying attention to what you're doing. They love that. Especially me. Jackson, tell Ken to pick the order.
Pick the order, Weaver.
Well, it's going to be Weaver, Murphy, and Williams again.
I told him to pick me last. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I got it. I got this. All right. Ken Weaver.
My story's out of Calhoun County, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
WBRC down there reports a man was arrested last Wednesday, May 13th, after neighbors found him swimming naked in their pool with his dog.
Haven't we all?
Shortly after midnight, neighbors on Mount Gilead Road woke up to someone banging on their door, breaking a glass window and trying to enter the home. They stopped him, tried to figure out what he wanted. He believed that he was being chased, so that he needed to come inside, said Calhoun County Deputy Chief William Moses. Neighbors called 911. Deputies with the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office arrived to what Moses said was an unusual scene. He had stripped himself of his clothes. He had his dog with him, and he was swimming in their pool, Moses described. He was telling us that he was concerned for himself and for his dog. Someone was trying to get his dog. Someone was trying to get him. When he disrobed and why he was swimming, we did not get him to explain. After deputies removed him from the pool, they determined the man, Timothy Dodd, lived nearby. The owners of the home knew who he was. Moses said they're trying to determine if this was a case of someone dealing with maybe a mental health issue. We don't know if it was drugs or if he may have had something else going on with him, but from what we understand, it was not typical behavior. Dodd faces second-degree robbery, public lewdness charges. He's been released from the Calhoun County Jail along with his dog.
His dog was in there, too?
Apparently they took the dog to jail, too.
Well,
wasn't even his fault.
The dog didn't do anything. The dog's not naked.
No.
Well, I guess dog's technically naked, but the dog's got, fur coat on.
Yes,
and a collar.
That's right.
Collar is their clothes.
That's what we call it when we take. Do y'all do that? Ken, do you do that with little Fritz?
What's that?
If Fritz doesn't have his collar on, he's running around naked.
Yeah,
that's
he's
what we do.
running around naked.
Yeah, that's what we do with Miss Beasley. Miss Beasley, put your clothes on. Miss Beasley lost her collar. I can't believe I found it.
Where was it?
It was underneath the shed.
Underneath the shed?
Mm-hmm. It was hooked on a little nail underneath the shed where, she was paying a lot.
She was getting something.
She was trying to get something underneath the shed. It was like a squirrel. She was chasing something in there. She got it hooked. And I can't believe I found it. 2 acres of property, and I went to it. Found it.
You better look out for Miss Beasley.
She's trouble, boy.
You got to watch her.
I'm telling you. And now, if it's night, she goes directly for this one same spot every single night and barks at it. And I think there's a raccoon over there.
They don't call her Mrs. Weasley for nothing.
No, they don't. They don't, Jackson.
And Munford.
London, England. I say we go around the world, right? Nay
the globe.
London, England. A British court has sentenced a truck driver to prison for smuggling 7 million pounds worth of cocaine.
What?
That's $9.4 million. I'm sorry. It's so that's the monetary evaluation.
Oh, I was getting mad.
I got very confused. It's 7 million pounds worth, or $9.4 million worth of cocaine.
Yeah, I forgot it said London.
Which is a lot less than the amount of weight that would be. But anyway, $9.4 million worth of cocaine, still a lot of cocaine.
Yes, sir.
The British court sentenced a truck driver to prison for smuggling that cocaine in a shipment of Kim Kardashian underpants. Now, I know that Kim Kardashian's got a big caboose, but I had no idea that you could fit $9.4 million worth of cocaine into that, booty rack.
Well, it might be worth about $9 million.
Maybe so. The National Crime Agency said Jakub Jan Kunkel. All right, Weaver, I hear you in there.
Mr. Kunkel.
Jakub. Jakub?
Jacob.
Probably Jakub.
I'm going. Jakub, Mr. Kunkel.
Mr. Kunkel.
40, was driving a truck carrying 28 pallets of the Kim Kardashian shapewear brand Skims. That's Skims clothing from the Netherlands. He was stopped by border security at the Port of Essex in September. The agency said Kunkel had stopped on the way to collect 90 kilograms. That's 198 pounds of cocaine. That's a lot of cocaine.
That's still a lot of cocaine.
That is a Matt Murphy-sized amount of cocaine. That's a lot of cocaine. And that the truck had been specially adapted so that he could hide the drugs wrapped in 1 kilogram packages in a compartment of the truck's back door. Speaking of back doors, have you ever seen some of these Skims? Or Kim Kardashian's rear end? I mean, I'm just asking. The agency said the shipment of clothing was legitimate, and neither the exporter nor the importer were connected to the smuggled load. Kunkel said he had agreed to transport the drugs for a payment of, y'all want to guess how much he got paid? 198 pounds of cocaine, $9.4 million worth of cocaine.
20 grand.
20 grand, that's a good guess.
21 grand.
$5,243.
We both lose. Wait a minute.
You both overbid.
That's all he got paid for that?
About 4,500 euros.
He's going to go to jail for a long time.
What a maroon.
He has just been sentenced, gentlemen, to 13 and 1/2 years prison
for
drug smuggling in the Crown Court. I hope it was worth the $5,000 that you got paid. Jackson, you're Nink-a-poops, sir.
Matt likes to go around the globe, but sometimes you can find just as good of an nincompoop right here at home.
Right here at home. That's true.
2 17-year-olds identified by police as Nashville Sounds glove thieves.
Oh, a son of a biscuit eater.
Metro Nashville police say they have identified 2 17-year-olds as the duo behind the recent theft of Nashville Sounds players' baseball gloves over the weekend.
Too tender. Too soon.
What?
Too soon.
Too soon?
Too tender. This is very dear and dear to our heart. This is our precious sounds.
Wait until I tell you what they did with the gloves that makes them, in my opinion, maroons.
Okay, I will wait.
Over the weekend, police announced the theft, saying they were searching for 2 people who broke into the clubhouse at First Horizon Baseball Park early Saturday morning and took several of the players' gloves. Then on Monday, the pair sold the 13 gloves to a Play It Again Sports in Nashville, Tennessee.
This is stupid.
The shop owner was suspicious of the gloves' origin, and after doing some digging, he turned the gear over to the police. Now, police say they are working to prosecute the teens allegedly behind the burglary and robbery, but investigators hit an obstacle Tuesday morning. A Nashville juvenile court magistrate judge this morning denied an MNPD's detective's request for arrest orders, apparently reasoning that the felony crimes for which they're being charged are property in nature, a press release from MNPD said. Instead, Nashville Juvenile Court is issuing petitions for delinquency, which provide a future court date. MNPD said that the Brentwood police were able to secure arrest orders while investigating the damage to Play It Again Sports. The business is out several $100s that it paid for the gloves, The press release said Brentwood police have applied for and received arrest orders for the two 17-year-olds from Williamson County Juvenile Court related to the possession and selling of stolen merchandise. How dumb do you have to be to try to sell it to a local store?
Well, and
Pretty
I
dumb.
would also question, too, would your spidey sense not be tingling if you worked at this store?
Yeah.
And two teenagers bring in more than a dozen baseball gloves?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what happened, right? I mean,
it did.
Also, they all have, like, their names and numbers stitched into these gloves.
Wow.
And a simple Google search will tell you, oh, they played for the Sounds. Oh, the Sounds recently. Like, putting two and two together here is not exactly difficult algebra.
Gentlemen, we are so lucky that criminals are so stupid.
We live in an era. You could sell it on eBay.
Yeah.
Game used glove from Milwaukee Brewers prospect. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Mm-hmm.
And you could sell them all individually.
And I don't mean to give anybody any ideas, but maybe sit on the merch for a hot minute.
Yeah, wait like 2 months.
And I would like to commend that store for recognizing that and taking the appropriate measures.
Kudos to the store. Not so much to the idiot 17-year-olds or a couple of
maroons.
Couple of nincompoops.
Nincompoops.
Not
That's how we
better than
play.
mine, though. Mine was naked.
I don't know, Ken.
And so was his dog.
Mine made you think of Kim Kardashian's butt. Huh?
How could you forget something like that?
Did Jackson's story make you think of Kim Kardashian's rear end? I don't think so. Did Ken Weaver's? No, you're thinking of some dude's butt. With mine, you're thinking of cocaine and Kim Kardashian's fanny.
It's like Lamar Odom in the early 2000s. I'm sorry, that joke was just sitting right there. I don't know who all got that. I hope you did. But
It's sitting right there, right where you could find it. That's how we play Nink-a-poops. Stand by. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. 3 locations to serve you. Gentlemen, let's talk for a moment about, your energy level. Let's put it that way. Now, this energy issue can be testosterone related. If you're at a certain age and you feel like you don't have the oomph, the go-to that you once had, it perhaps is a testosterone related issue or something else. Do you know? Well, it's time to find out. With the Tennessee Men's Clinic, their qualified urologists want to talk with you. Evan Bass started Tennessee Men's Clinic in Nashville, Tennessee in 2014. Since then, they've put together a location in Cool Springs and now the brand new location in Clarksville. So those of you north of the city don't have to worry about driving through. You can find service right there in your area. In Clarksville or in Nashville or in Cool Springs, make the call that so many others have made to the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Less than $100. That's what it's going to cost you for your initial consultation. They'll give you a full examination and take some blood work from you. Tennessee Men's Clinic can be called at 615-208-9090. 615-208-9090 or online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. That's TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
Nashville gets a Super Bowl, and the U.S. Senate has voted on taken a significant step toward limiting U.S. military action in Iran. We'll tell you about these stories and more coming up at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I meant to bring this up yesterday. Thank you, Ken Weaver, from the News Closet. Headlines on the way in mere moments. I meant to bring this up yesterday. Mark Furman, who wrote a fabulous book on the Kennedy assassination called A Simple Act of Murder, but that's beside the point. Mark Furman is dead at the age of 74. Mark Furman made the mistake of lying about saying racist things in his past. That was it. And Mark Furman lost his livelihood and a good portion of the latter years of his life as a result of that. Jackson, I'm not trying to put you on the spot when I ask you this question, but I ask the question only to identify the schism in society when it comes to where the world is today versus where the world was then. Do you know who Mark Furman is? Do you know, you know what he's most famous for?
He was the cop in the OJ trial.
Oh, very good. See, now that surprises me.
Well, they did the FX show with Omar Gooding Jr. and
Cuba
Gooding Jr.
Cuba, I guess, or Cuba. I don't know. But it's not Omar.
Yeah. I got him mixed up with the Omar Epps. That's my fault.
So you watched that?
I love that show. I think it's one of the best dramatizations of like a crime drama done.
It is difficult to explain to people who are of your age, Jackson. And once again, I'm not age shaming you. I think this is a fascinating aspect of where we are in society. It is difficult to understand what living through the OJ trial was like without having lived through it. I mean, because this was like pre-social media fabric. It was pre-internet almost.
Could you imagine the OJ trial with social media?
Oh my God, no. It would. I'm trying to figure who would have to be. I'm going to try to do this next hour. And we'll take calls. And, some of you have been holding on, and I appreciate you holding. Who would it be?
Travis Kelce.
That's good. I mean, OJ was kind of retired. He was kind of into movies. Yeah, but I mean, somebody along those lines. And what would the world be like? I mean, it captivated the country. And then he got off. And he clearly killed his ex-wife and her boyfriend.
But he worked real hard afterward to try to find him. Looked around every bush at every golf course.
That's true. He did. He was convinced it was a professional golfer that killed Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman because he said he was going to track down the killer for the rest of his life, Jackson. And the rest of his life he spent, when he wasn't in prison for other things, he spent time on a golf course. Here comes the news, boys.
Six o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Nashville's officially been awarded Super Bowl 64, set for February 2030 at the new Nissan Stadium, which is set for completion next year. Channel 4's Marius Payton spoke with Dina Ivey, CEO of Nashville's Convention and Visitors Corporation, who says the city's ready.
There are several things that happen leading up to that Sunday in February, some run by the NFL, but others will be coordinated by Nashville's Super Bowl Bid Committee. The group was formed to organize community partnerships as well as all the events in town. Now, one of the biggest pieces is making sure the city can handle all the people we're expecting to see, which Ivy says Nashville is ready for.
It will be the biggest event ever. I mean, we've never hosted anything of this magnitude. We've hosted a lot of big events, and we're used to hosting big events, but this one will be incredible.
The Super Bowl is the single most watched annual event in the U.S. It averages 127 million viewers for the Super Bowl.
So we expect to learn more tomorrow during a press conference slated for 9 o'clock in the morning with Governor Lee, the Titans, Nashville sportscaster Jim Nance, and others. Then tomorrow night, a big party on Lower Broad starting at 7:30. Going to include live music, a drone, fireworks show, guest appearances, Iran war update. In our nation's capital, the U.S. Senate has taken a significant step toward limiting U.S. military action in Iran. A bipartisan group helped advance a war powers resolution that would force a withdrawal without congressional approval. The move reflects growing concern among lawmakers about the ongoing conflict. Still, the proposal must pass both chambers and survive a likely presidential veto. And at the White House, while showing reporters plans for the new ballroom, President Trump says he was an hour away from ordering more strikes on Iran this week and signaled that he might order them later.
I mean, I'm saying 2 or 3 days, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something, maybe early next week, a limited period of time.
Trump insists Iran is, quote, begging to make a peace deal. And authorities gave an update on the investigation into yesterday's deadly attack on the Islamic Center of San Diego. Mark Remley is the FBI special agent in charge and says authorities found hate writings in a car believed to be linked to the suspects, but insists this was not specifically against the Islamic faith.
In the vehicle they used, we also identified writings and various ideologies outlining religious and racial beliefs of how the world they envisioned should look. These subjects did not discriminate on who they hated.
So the two teenage suspects were live streaming, and they shot and killed themselves. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Crashes starting off in Woodbine with the off-ramp partially blocked, 24 eastbound to I-440. Glencliff, 24 eastbound before Briley Parkway South. Pegram, right lane blocked, 40 eastbound near McCrory Lane. Berry Hill, left 2 lanes blocked, 65 northbound at Armory Drive. East Bank, 24 eastbound near Shelby Avenue. Belmont area, 440 westbound near Hillsborough Pike, 21st Avenue. I'm Ken Weaver.
It is 6 minutes after 6 o'clock, almost 7 past 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We're in the home stretch, final hour of the Tuesday edition of the Matt Murphy Show. It's episode 1040. It's kind of our IRS episode. Get it? 1040? Huh? No? Nothing?
That's the way to go, Brother Murphy.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you. You know what? You're not, see, you don't get these poorly conceived and executed dad jokes anymore now that you're not on the morning show, but I'm trying to provide.
Well, remember, I got a whole deck of cards over here.
Oh, that's true. You got dad jokes over there. Can we have one?
Yeah, let's pick one out here. I'm going to get it from the middle of the pack.
All right, very good.
Dad jokes. All right, let's see. All right. What's E.T. short for?
What's E.T. short for?
Extra tartar.
Wait, this doesn't make any sense.
Well?
What's E.T. short for? Because he's only got little legs.
I actually like that one. Try another one, Ken.
That's so bad.
That's terrible.
The reason I thought about this, I thought about the dad jokes. Did you hear the one that Mandis told this morning?
No.
He Nashville's Morning News, everybody. Dan
Nashville's
Mandis.
Morning News, yes, sir.
He beta tested it on me because I had a conversation with Dan Monday. And he was off Monday because Dan's a new grandpa. Again, his daughter had her second baby. Lincoln is little baby's name.
Oh, yeah. He told me about that. Yes, I know.
Ken, he's proud of it.
Yes. That's actually pretty funny, man.
He said that mama and baby and everybody was around in the hospital room. And Lincoln is little baby's name. And Lincoln made a duty. And you know what Ken said, Jackson? Look, you made a little Lincoln log.
That's what Dan said.
That's what Dan said, Jackson. Did I say Dan? I don't know what I said. That's what Dan said. Lincoln log. Made a Lincoln log. And he tested that joke on me Monday.
Did you tell him it was bad?
You know what? I feel like Dan's just got to finish what he starts and just let him reap, the benefit or the consequences as the case may be. He told it twice this morning that I know of, and apparently told Ken Weaver separate from the radio show.
Yeah, he told it while we were taking pictures up there on the roof.
Oh, did he now?
Yes.
Was this before or after the wardrobe change?
It was after.
So here's my question, Ken.
Yes, sir.
You were up. I'm a little annoyed that Ken and I didn't get up on our own. Now, I'm even more annoyed that Jackson wasn't up there, but that's a different story for a different day. But you were up there with Dan.
Yes, sir.
Y'all were taking we had picture day at Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And we took pictures down at Printer's Alley, which is a lovely, if you've never been, got to go. It's nice down there. So Dan took 2 changes of clothing for what was basically a 10-minute photo shoot. Did he have a shirt on underneath his shirt?
Yes.
So he had like a T-shirt on?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was a wife beater.
What?
Had a wife beater on.
I don't take Dan for a wife beater kind of guy. Did you?
Well, he had that shirt on.
Okay. Well, I guess he just didn't want to, just show.
He didn't want to bear it all.
He just didn't want to bare chested out there in front of God and everybody on Printer's Alley. Look, you're on Printer's Alley. You start taking off your clothes. I don't know what's going to happen to you.
Especially if you're up there on the roof.
Might find a Lincoln log. I don't know what that means. So Dan had a pink shirt and a blue shirt.
Yeah, a pink shirt and a blue shirt. Started off with the blue shirt and then said that Amy suggested he might want to try the pink shirt, and he was not going to disappoint her.
You look great.
Well, thank you, Brother Murphy.
I don't know what Mandis is going to look like because I didn't see his outfit, but you look fabulous.
Well, you do too.
Well, thank you, Ken. I just decided
you're a snappy dresser.
I don't know about all of that, but I'll pay you later for the compliment. I appreciate that. Now, Jackson, he's a snappy dresser. If you like jogging shorts and T-shirts, Jackson's your guy.
Yes, sir.
I have a plethora.
So, Caleb's been holding on to talk about tunnel haters, and I want to get to you, Caleb, but I got to tell y'all, I don't know why I've become fascinated with this over the last 5 minutes, but if you were not around during 1994 to 1995 and did not experience the O.J. Simpson trial or were too young to experience the O.J., I cannot express to you how the world was just
changed.
It totally changed. And you know what? If it were not, I firmly believe this, Ken, and I've no way to prove it, but I believe with all of my heart that had Rodney King not happened 2.5 years prior, that O.J. would have been found guilty. I believe it with all of my heart and soul.
I think you may be right.
I believe that O.J., I mean, are we far? I mean, the guy's dead. A lot of the players are dead. Is it okay for us to say he did it now? Remember how many years we had to go through the whole allegedly crap?
Yeah.
Wasn't he held civilly liable?
He was held civilly liable, which is a slightly lower standard than criminal liability. And then eventually he decided that he wanted to hold people at gunpoint who he said stole his stuff in Las Vegas.
Stole his Heisman Trophy.
And he decided to hold them at gunpoint to make sure that he got his stuff back. And that'll get you thrown into big boy prison, which is what happened to O.J. eventually.
Didn't he write a book?
He wrote a book called If I Did It.
Wow.
In which he said, I didn't do it. This is what he said. I didn't do it, guys. But if I did it, this is exactly the way it would have happened. And then he went on to describe exactly how he killed Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman.
He never showed any remorse whatsoever.
Nope.
None.
Even
now I'm starting to get mad.
I am too. Because, I mean, if you go down that rabbit hole, guys, if you've never been down that rabbit hole, the evidence was so damned overwhelming.
Yeah.
Against O.J. They found a bloody glove with Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson's blood on it on O.J. Simpson's property. And because the guy that found the glove lied about using the N-word in his past, Mark Furman, the jury discounted that glove, and they said, well, we feel like he could have placed that glove there. Remember when Kato Kalin said that he basically heard O.J. Simpson coming home.
Yes.
After killing his wife or ex-wife, and I guess Ron Goldman was, I guess he was her boyfriend.
I don't know if that was established at the time.
I guess he was her server. He was bringing her back sunglasses or something along those lines.
Something like that.
Man, it just
they turned it into race.
They turned it into a case about race.
His defense went straight for the race card,
and it worked.
Everybody loved O.J. Simpson up to that point.
Yep. And sadly, it became a testimony as to where we were regarding race relations in the United States of America. Sadly, I mean, I won't say everyone, but largely, if you asked people, did O.J. Simpson do it, you would get a majority of white people said yes, a majority of black people said no. And it was not close where they were on this situation. And unfortunately, it further divided the country at a time. Well, and I don't know what would happen if this kind of thing went down. Who would it have to be?
Today?
Yeah. Tiger Woods? No. I mean, maybe.
John Cena?
Yeah.
Because Cena's been an actor for a while.
Yeah, that's a good former kind of professional athlete, if you will, turned actor. I don't know. It was just
I don't know
insane.
if there's anybody. I don't know if there's anything like this anymore, man.
No, not today, because the world is just a more divided place. We don't have, one of the things that we've lost in this era of time, we've lost that unifying moment, those unifying experiences. Really, one of the reasons that I'm so excited about the Super Bowl coming into Nashville is that that's one of those unifying experiences that we still have as a society. Just about everybody watches the Super Bowl for one reason or another, whether it's commercials or just camaraderie or just the fact that there's nothing else on.
Yeah.
That's kind of a unifying moment. We don't have a lot of those anymore. But man, oh man, I'll never forget it when it happened, guys. They broke into my roommate at the time. I was in Carrollton, Georgia, in college, 1994. My roommate at the time, Caleb, was for some reason he was watching I want to say the basketball tournament was on. There was an NBA Finals game on, and they interrupted the NBA Finals.
Game 7.
Was it Game 7?
Game 7.
They interrupted the NBA Finals Game 7, and so we interrupt this broadcast to bring you this slow-speed car chase that was going 35 miles an hour down the Los Angeles freeway.
It's a very interesting. It was Knicks Rockets. It was when Michael Jordan had retired to go play baseball. Game 7. Rockets end up winning that game.
Man, crazy.
Just a little bit of the sports side for you.
Absolutely crazy. Did you learn that from the documentary thing you watched?
A different documentary. I've actually gone down this rabbit hole a few years ago.
Ever see some of the crime scene photos?
No interest.
Don't. If you don't,
it's terrible.
It's just absolutely awful, and it will, Ken, make you angry when you start thinking about it.
Oh yeah.
The fact that this guy had no remorse, just decided that he was going to get off, played the race card, hired the quote unquote dream team with F. Lee Bailey. F. Lee Bailey cross-examining Mark Furman, and then what's his name, Johnny Cochran. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. Talking about the gloves.
Yeah.
Which obviously O.J. Simpson was like making his hands wider when he tried to put on the gloves.
Yes.
Man, oh man. And the prosecution, just a bunch of dunderheads. Christopher Darden and what's her name with the curly hair. Marsha Clark. How do I remember these people's names? I don't know, but I just did.
Yeah, you did.
Christopher Darden and Marsha Clark were the two lead prosecutors in the case, and they botched it mightily. Anyway. Crazy story, says 4460. We actually saw O.J. while flying through O'Hare Airport that day.
Wow.
No. Are you serious?
Yeah, because he flew to Chicago.
That's right.
Well, I know that's true. The belief is that he carried the murder weapon and the bloody clothes with him to Chicago and dumped them somewhere in Chicago.
Put it in the overhead.
And 4460 says, crazy story. We actually saw O.J. while flying through O'Hare in Chicago that day. He looked completely disheveled. We actually commented on his demeanor, and it had not yet been reported. My buddies and I still talk about it today. That's incredible.
That is incredible.
Wow. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Let's talk to Caleb. Hey, Caleb, thanks for holding in there. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. What's on your mind?
Hey, so you were talking earlier about the tunnel haters and other names that you could potentially call them. I kind of thought of this a while ago when it first got brought up that people were hating on it. But Elon Musk's last name just kind of rings a little bell for me for like the Three Musketeers. You could just call them the Musketeers.
The say it again?
Musketeers, like they're jeering at Elon Musk.
The Musketeers. I like it. I kind of like that. That's pretty good. Oh yeah, there's a lot of people that believe, or at least some. I won't say a lot, but there's some people that believe that the tunnel's never going to work, and because of the rain and the level of topography that exists in the city of Nashville, that it's going to flood. I'm not so sure. I'm also not so sure about 9777, who writes in and says, just because he's a black man, it doesn't make him guilty. Well, I don't think O.J. Simpson was guilty because he was black. He's guilty because he killed Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman. That's why he's guilty. The majority of white people thought he was guilty. The majority of black people thought he was not guilty. I watched the trial. That's not true. Are you saying that it wasn't true that a majority of white people in America in 1995 thought that O.J. Simpson was guilty and a majority of black people thought he was not guilty? Because I was around. I remember those polls. That is most certainly true. It divided the country in that way. I remember being told by college professors not to have the conversations in class because people would get so heated about it. This is not anecdotal. There's empirical data that demonstrates what I'm saying is a fact. I don't know if we're disagreeing or not, 9777, but I don't think O.J. Simpson was guilty because he was a black man. I don't think it matters that he was a black man, frankly. I think they used race as a pick in that case. His race really had nothing to do with it. What made him guilty was the fact that he went over to Nicole Brown Simpson's house and found Ronald Goldman there returning her glasses and whatever. And he went into a rage and killed both of them on the stoop of her Brentwood home. Ricky says a majority of, I don't know, Rick. I don't know that I'd agree with that. A majority of white people thought he was guilty. A majority of black people wanted him to get away with it. I don't think that that's necessarily the truth. I think I go back to my original comment. I do believe that because of the nature of the Rodney King trial and verdict, because of the riots that happened in the aftermath of Rodney King, if y'all don't remember that, I mean, that was an incident unto itself. I mean, those riots lasted, a week? I remember being in college and watching that on television as well. That was in, 1992? Rodney King verdict happened, and L.A. just descended into madness. Dozens of people died. I want to say over 50 people died during the Rodney King riots. Point being is that obviously the country did not want to go through that again, and there was a lot of racial tension as a result of the trial that happened and the resulting riots that occurred. I think like 10,000 people were arrested during the riots in the aftermath of Rodney King. We were still just kind of getting over those wounds when all of this happened. And, maybe your characterization is correct, but I don't think so. I just think there was a lot of racial tension in the country at that time. 23 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Friends, the website is called painisbad.com. Why do you think that is? Why do you think Dr. Mitchell chose that website? Because, pain is bad, and you know it, and I know it, and we want to get rid of it. We want to eliminate the pain from our body the natural way. We want to make sure that it's a permanent solution to the pain that we experience in your back, in your neck, in your knees, in your hips, in your elbows. And they've got it down to a science, literally, a medical science at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Medical Bay 1 is incredible. They've done it again. I'm telling you, nobody can touch this doctor on healing and technology. Dr. Mitchell has created Medical Bay 1, a futuristic healing machine that massages your body while engaging in full-body laser treatment with red light therapy, adding stem cell stimulation for tissue regeneration. This is futuristic to say the least. And friends, it's right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Ask them about the hydro wave. Ask them about spinal decompression. It's all available for you, and it's all designed for one purpose: to eliminate pain without having to need pills, needles, or surgery. That's what it's all about, friends, at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Call 615-246-5009, 246-5009, or painisbad.com. That's painisbad.com. Hello, folks. Matt Murphy for Efficient Heating and Cooling, a small company with big service and big results in their mind. Jeff Eddy, I trust him with all things AC in my home. As a matter of fact, you've heard my backstory, right? When I first got to the home, the heater wasn't working properly, and Roger came out and helped us out. I mean, my goodness, he is an ace when it comes to solving issues in your home with your heater or your air conditioner. And he's been with Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling for some time now. And he gave me the bad news. You know, he got it solved over the ice storm, and that was a pretty big deal that we were able to keep heat at the house for the 2 weeks in time that we did. Then we got him back out, and he delivered the news that we had a fatal error with our 5-ton. Well, thankfully, they found it. Thankfully, I trusted Jeff Eddy. They got it solved and got it replaced as inexpensively as possible and quickly. I'm talking jiffy quick. It was like a 2-day turnaround with Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. They don't want to deliver the bad news. But when they do, you know they're being honest and straightforward with you. They're telling you the real deal with regard to extending the life of that unit of yours or replacing it. And when they replace, they're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem. They can find the right unit for you and your family. Call today at 615-784-4424, 784-4424, or efficienthvac.net.
Super Bowl 64 headed to Music City, and the U.S. Senate has broken new ground in efforts to rein in the war in Iran. We'll tell you about that story. Other stories at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Oh, can't wait for it. We're going to have to. Don't want to. Going to have to. But it's only about a minute and a half away on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Jeff says, can't we just get along? That was the, oh, man. Rodney King, can't we all just get along? Reginald Denny, I remember that. I wish Reginald Denny wanted to get along with everybody, and Reginald Denny had his brains beaten in.
Goodness.
Oh, it was just awful. If you don't know, you don't know. I mean, Reginald Denny was just a truck driver that happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that mob drug him out of that truck and just beat him senseless, hit him in the head with a brick.
Oh, man.
That was bad.
Yeah, that happened on live TV.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, as we watched all of this shake down. And then, you know, I would love to talk to you. Where'd the note go? I lost you. 9777 says, I don't think he killed them. And I responded, or if you're serious, I would love to talk to you. Not to argue, I just would love to understand. And 9777 wrote back and said, I'm extremely serious. Based on the severity of the wounds, I don't think he had the expertise to cause the damage that was caused to both bodies. I'd love to talk to you, too, but only in person. It's your platform. I'd be at a disadvantage. Once again, 9777, I wouldn't ask to – I would just want to understand your logic for believing that he did not do it. The evidence – I mean, they found blood on his socks. They found blood in the Bronco. They found, obviously, the glove in the back of the back of the property. The other glove was on property. I mean, the shoe prints matched. They never found a murder weapon. They never found any other clothing. They did find the sock, though. The Cato Kalin evidence. I mean, just DNA evidence. It was so overwhelming. I'm just fascinated that someone would. I just feel like most people, given the gift of hindsight and time, generally accept that O.J. Simpson most certainly killed Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. 30 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's time for the news.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Super Bowl 64 coming to Music City. Nashville landing the 2030 NFL Championship game in the new multi-billion-dollar Nissan Stadium, which is slated for completion next year. We're going to learn more tomorrow morning at the 9 a.m. press conference, including Governor Lee, the Titans, even Nashville sportscaster Jim Nance. Then tomorrow night, starting at 7:30, big old celebration to include live music, a drone and fireworks show, and guest appearances all on Lower Broad. Iran war update. The Senate has broken new ground in efforts to rein in the war. Senators voted to advance legislation that would require the president to end hostilities without explicit authorization from Congress. The decision follows repeated attempts earlier this year that failed to gain traction. Even so, the measure remains far from final approval. Also at the White House construction site for the new ballroom today, President Trump told a reporter how close he was to ordering more strikes on Iran this week.
I was an hour away. We were all set to go. You're talking about yesterday.
Yes.
We were going to be striking it would have been happening right now.
And he says he signaled, that he might order them this weekend. Money News, Mike Dubusky.
Major market indices fell after last week's record-setting rallies. The Dow down 322 points at the close on Tuesday. The S&P lost 49 points and the Nasdaq fell 220. Tech stocks faltered as excitement around artificial intelligence technology cools. Investors are waiting for Wednesday's quarterly report for NVIDIA for hints of which way the tech sector is heading. Brent crude oil prices held around $107 a barrel as uncertainty continues about the Strait of Hormuz reopening. Shares of Home Depot had strong gains after its latest earnings report beat analysts' expectations. Swatch is defending last weekend's chaotic release of its Royal Pop pocket watch. Crowds at some stores turned violent. Police in Paris used tear gas on crowds at the store there. Swatch boss Nick Hayek Jr., speaking with BBC Radio 4, says it was good news for the company. Lines were shorter Monday with new shipments on the way.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Woodbine crash 24 eastbound off-ramp to 440. Got a crash Briley Parkway at 40 west. Then Pegram, 40 eastbound near McCrory Lane. Madison, Gallatin Pike south at Webster. And then an Antioch injury crash, Hamilton Church Road at Murfreesboro Pike. Right now in Murfreesboro, map is showing some police activity. Off-ramp partially blocked. 24 westbound to Medical Center Parkway. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Defense Systems. It's a dangerous world. You never know what's going to come at you, whether it's an automobile accident or an accident in the workplace, or perhaps it's something more nefarious and dangerous like workplace violence. No one wants to think about it. No one wants to see it, obviously. But if it descends upon you, you need to be prepared to know what to do, how to react, how not to react. Defense Systems is that company that gives you that training. This is real training, folks. You're not just checking a box. You're doing the real work. And when your team gets trained, you know that they have life skills that they can literally utilize in a lot of different facets of their life. But they involve themselves in active shooter response training, workplace violence prevention, site survey and threat assessment, emergency and intruder action plans, and they customize all of this to your facility and to your team, to your specifications and your needs. That's what it's all about. Brink Fiddler and his team at Defense Systems can help, not just in Nashville, but in the surrounding communities and all over the state of Tennessee. They're here for you. Reach out today at 615-236-6484, 236-6484. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Defense Systems, online at defensesystems.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. For those asking, Judge Johnson. When people ask what the results of Nink-a-poops was, I always think of Judge Johnson. You know, she was the original. She was the OG demander that we pay off the winner of Nink-a-poops in the news on a daily basis. Do y'all honestly believe? I mean, is there any question who won? Do you think we'd be getting that music from that room if it was anyone other than young Jackson Williams, formerly known as King Jackson?
The reign of terror has reborn.
That's very frightening. Congratulations, Jackson, on your victory today.
I'm coming for that crown, Weaver.
Well done. Weaver wins yesterday. Jackson wins today. And on we go to Wednesday. Jackson eked out a victory. I was 1 or 2 up. Based on my math, I was 1 or 2 up, and I was very, very happy with that. And I asked Jackson, I said, Jackson, I have done the count. I've not looked at the poll. Who won the poll? Jackson said, I won the poll.
I just pointed to myself.
I won the poll. That's what I heard in my head. I heard that. I just
Poll
heard
complete, 55 votes, ended at 610. Jackson, 40%. Matt, 35%. Ken, 25%.
You folks on the YouTube chat, y'all are a consistent burr in my saddle when it comes to Nink-a-poops. I don't know why. What do you do to them? I don't know why they love you so much on the YouTube chat, but the YouTube chat people, these crazies over on the chat, they love you. You consistently win the chat for some reason.
Because I gave them the poll, the platform to raise their voices.
My God, that's a sentence I never wanted to hear you say, that you gave them the poll. Anyway, 615-737-9986. Matt's in Shelbyville. Hello, Matt.
Hey, Matt, how you doing?
I'm great, Matt.
Talk to you again.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're going to talk about this Iranian war. I think we only have one choice, but the nuclear option is off the table. Future bombing is off the table because my thought process is what you do to one, expect to be done to you. So just because we have issues here, if we keep bombing this sovereign country, what happens if China doesn't like the way we're doing things? Are they going to first strike us? And then if they did, would you blame them? So, you know, we got to be very careful. But here's what you do. I got an out for this. What I would do is I would go all the world leaders and have them throw in a budget and troops and ships and missiles and put it all around to have around Iran for a 360-degree circle and have them be self-sufficient in their country. So they can't come out. They have to stay in. There's going to be no trade. Even that means not selling that oil. There's nothing. They have to stay right there until they want to comply.
Who's going to stop other nations from buying their oil?
Well, that's why I said, because you're going to have to make that decision. Well, you're going to have to. If these people are buying the Iranian oil, then obviously they're going to have another resource so they can purchase their oil. But what I'm saying is if they don't want to turn around and be part of the world, then you isolate them and you force them into isolation. And then, too, they have to feed themselves. They're going to
haven't we been doing that?
No, not at all. No, we're still allowing travel. We're still allowing trade. And then once we pull out, it's going to be business as usual. No, You get to stay right there. You have to feed yourself. You have to have your own energy. And then if you want to build your arsenal, go right ahead. But you're going to keep that right there. And if you ever did try to get your bomb, because you will have it, I mean, that was a stupid narrative. You're not going to tell a sovereign country what they are and what they aren't going to do. That doesn't make any sense. No sense.
Well, we do that when that country either threatens or attacks us or our interests, right?
Oh, now we're talking about interest now. See,
yes, we're talking about interests.
See,
I mean, the Iranian, the Iran was a pariah, right? I mean, there's no debating that. Even other Muslim nations in that region had issue with how the Iranians comported themselves.
Of course. So, like I said, when we tolerate them, because we're allowing them to move freely over the globe and start their nonsense. Okay, so now we stop them. We're not going to kill you, but you're going to be confined into your country, and you stay there. And since Iran is this big problem for the world, then I don't think the world would have any problem.
Well, unfortunately, there are other nations that don't believe that Iran is the problem that we believe Iran is, China being the primary country I'm thinking of. I mean, China wants the oil. They don't care. They don't care the issues. I mean, China doesn't have a problem with the Muslim faith or radical Islam because they don't allow Muslims to come into China.
Right. So, I mean, we could sell oil to China if we wanted to.
Well, I mean, and that might have been something that Donald Trump was talking to the Chinese about when he visited that country last week.
Well, I think that people are going to have to come to the realization that Donald Trump is not this negotiator that people think he is. He never was, and people are starting to see this. I understand that the American people wanted a businessman in the White House, but they just got the wrong businessman. And I think that there are too many take scenarios, but that's here nor there. That's not where we are.
The only entity that I've seen Donald Trump have a difficult time, the Iranians notwithstanding, and I understand that's a pretty big deal, and obviously it's not going as well as we would want it to go, but the only other entity that comes to mind when I think of a group that Donald Trump has not been able to negotiate with would be the Democrats.
Well, I think that when you have a oversight and you can turn around and question people's actions, and you have to do that lawfully and legally, well, look, and I said this before on your show, if Donald Trump did not have or did what's totally innocent of everything, then he wouldn't have stopped not going to court. He would have been to court. He would have beat the Democrats to court so he can have the TVs running so everybody can see how it's litigated, and then he can say, see, I told you I was innocent. He would have got every vote. But he didn't do that. He ran from the courts.
Wait.
So now you have
the
speculation of, okay.
What court did what?
Okay, so Donald Trump was indicted.
Right. There are four separate cases against Donald Trump. Right. One was in New York, one was in D.C., one was in Florida, one was in Georgia.
Right. So here's what happened: when you win the election and you had your AG, the new AG, say that I'm not going to go any further. Well, wait a minute.
Wait. Hold on a second. When did the AG say that?
Okay. I think it was right before. I think it was right.
The judge in Florida threw that case out. The Georgia case dissolved on its own lack of merit. I mean, the New York case ended. The state case ended favorably again. I mean, for the prosecution, they convicted Trump in that nonsense. The D.C. case is the one that I suppose you could say the Department of Justice decided not to go any further with, and that's fair.
But see, that's here now.
But none of it. But I mean, Matt. I would agree with you. None of that matters at this point. I would maintain that the biggest impediment to a successful Donald Trump second term in office has been the Democrats that hate Donald Trump so much. Iran notwithstanding, the point of your call was Iran. Iran's a problem, and it is more of a political problem than it's a geopolitical problem, but it's also a political problem in the United States of America with regard to voting in the November election. And it remains to be seen how all of that's going to work out. I'm going to move to as many as I can possibly get to, like Adam, who is next, who wants to talk OJ. Hey, Adam.
I'm sorry. I am door dashing. I'm a door dasher.
Well, I'm going to put you. Hey, Adam, I'm going to put you back on hold. Adam is door dashing right now. Did you call Adam to this radio station?
Did not.
So Adam's door dashing right now, so we're going to let Adam do his thing. We'll get to Jeff in Indiana, and maybe we'll get back to Adam in a moment after he gets done door dashing. I love it. I love it, Adam, that you're working it. You're taking care of business. You're making a little cash. I absolutely love that. Sally writes in and says, "This is what you get, Matt. Remember, it used to be only the text line. That's the only votes that counted. Then you had to bow down to the YouTube channel people, and this is what we get." Yeah, you're right. You know what, Sally? You're right. That's fair, and I should lay down the law on these YouTube people.
This is not what Nink-a-poops looks like.
Laying down the law. I might have to reassess the amount of vote power that the YouTube channel has.
It wouldn't have mattered because it's either 3 or 5. You were up max 2.
I was up 2.
So either way, I win.
Well, maybe they shouldn't count at all. Maybe these YouTube people are abusing their privilege and voting twice. Have you thought about that? Have you thought about the fact that they could vote once on the text machine and once on the YouTube channel? Now, I don't think that the text machine people are going to like that very much, do you? I don't think so. Oh, we're going to have to reassess this whole Nink-a-poop deal. This whole thing's got to be rethought. Sally also presented a dad joke. You want to hear it?
Sure.
My wife said that I have a lousy sense of direction. I got so angry I packed my things and write. That's awful, Sally. That's just horrible. That's not funny. That's not funny. Jeff is next in Indiana. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Matt. Hey, did you feel the big sigh coming out of the left here? We got come out with somebody shot up a mosque, and then we find out it's 2 kids and they're in camo even. Gotta be MAGA kids. Gotta be. And then
story kind of went away after that, didn't it?
It was trans. One of them was trans. Oh gosh, darn! We almost got them, dead to rights. We're looking for some right-wing violence, and we just can't find it.
Mm-hmm. It was amazing how desperate yesterday the mainstream media seemed to want information on that case, and once they got the information that they claimed it to want, everything went away today. Everything went away.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it?
And it is.
The shooting in Nashville.
It's almost as if, Jeff, they have a narrative, and if the circumstances involved in some of this news doesn't fit their narrative, they just ignore it. Weird.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. No, it's great.
Why is all these reporters all on the left and everything? Can we get some right-wing reporters somewhere that actually tell the truth?
I guess maybe they're out. No, you know what? There is a democratization of the news in a way that we've never seen. And part of the good of social media platforms is that we have people like Nick Shirley that rise to the top. Without Nick Shirley, I don't know that we'd know the complexity and the full details on the Minnesota fraud situation involving daycares that we know. I don't know that we would have the investigations into Ilhan Omar that we currently have. I don't know that we would have the California fraud exposure that we have. So that's just Nick Shirley alone. So, I would say that there are some out there. Sadly, they are fewer and further between than I would like, but they do certainly exist. 615-737-9986. Right. How do I pronounce? Well, I won't ask you, Jackson. You won't know. Although I didn't think you'd know a lot about Mark Furman either, and you proved me wrong on that one. I'm trying to figure out how to pronounce. I've not looked into the Thomas Massey primary enough to know how to pronounce his opponent's name. I'm sad. I'm
yeah.
sad to tell you.
How do you spell it?
Well, it was just up on the screen. Gall something.
Gallo?
No, it's not that. It's not Gallo. Someone will know. One way or the other, he's currently winning against Massey. I don't know that that's going to hold, but remains to be seen. But, boy, if Thomas Massey loses his primary, that would be something else. 52 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's going on, gentlemen? What's going on, ladies? May I talk to you for a moment about your health? I mean, it's so important that you understand what's going on in your body, and you know that. Now, some folks, they have a tendency to not want to know, right? But that's just bad business. That's bad news. That's not good for your long-term health. You need to know what's happening inside of that body of yours. The idea of knowing versus not knowing really stuck with me, which is why years ago, when I first started talking about Kraft Body Scan, I went and had a full body scan at Kraft, and I absolutely adored it. Why? Because it delivered that information. It was quick, non-invasive. I walked out with real answers. It was reassuring, as a matter of fact. Well, right now, Kraft Body Scan is reintroducing themselves to the Nashville area. They've been around for some time now. I think the first Kraft Body Scan opened up in 2017, and the first one here in Nashville opened up several years ago. Kraft Body Scan is offering our listeners a couple's heart and lung scan valued at $2,500 for just $99. You heard me correctly. Couple's heart and lung scan. That's going to give you some peace of mind when it comes to your heart and your lungs, and you're invited to do the full Monty, if you will, by going with the full body scan. Just talk to them about that when you make the call that so many others have made to Kraft Body Scan. Go to togetherwescan.com, promo code MATT50. Need that promo code for the $99 special. That's Together We Scan, promo code MATT50 or 615-436-1000. 436-1000 for Kraft Body Scan. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Gallrain is his name. Gallrain is the way to pronounce the last name of the individual. I don't know the first name of the individual running against Thomas Massey. I haven't really followed that primary, but Massey is about to lose his primary. That, according to the projections, that is huge. Was that Joe? I guess I need to know his name now. Thomas Massey is losing. Wow. That's a pretty big story. Thomas Massey has been a lightning rod, and Donald Trump set his sights against Thomas Massey and demonstrates the power of Trump for better or worse. Some say for better, others don't agree. I will not get to Adam. Adam, enjoy your DoorDash. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Until next time, for Jackson Williams, for Ken Weaver, and the rest of the team, Matt Murphy speaking and saying, hug your loved one. So long, everybody.